Myers, Kenny Calvin, Julian Wilson on production. We're coming to you live this evening from West High School here in Bakersfield, California, home of the West High Vikings, and the Vikings taking on the Rebels of South High School. A very good Rebel squad at 3-1 so far on the season, Kenny. The West High Vikings, conversely, 1-3. It's kind of a tale of two teams tonight. What do you think?
Well, we've had a chance to see South High. We know what they're capable of. Had a loss against Golden Valley, which they very easily had a chance to come out victorious. A lot of penalties that they wish that they can take back, of course. But over the recent weeks, they've had success on the ground. You see what their offense is capable of with a kid that's running the ball better than we've seen out of anyone with Mr. Lomax doing as well as he's done. For West High, you have a team that, of course, is underachieving, but they have a few bright spots. I had an opportunity to look at some of those numbers and see some of the highlights of their program from a personnel perspective, and I'm excited to see what they have regardless of what the record.
And what Kenny's referring to tonight, of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention number 34, and we're going to be tongue-tied probably this evening, Le'owona La'ulu. And he is the big 290 pounds of 5'10" running back, 2 touchdowns last week.
Absolutely, and I called him the reincarnation of the fridge. But if you look at him, he's more like a slim, we'll just call him one of those soda machines because he's more compact than a refrigerator. He doesn't look like a kid who's overweight. He's a solid 290. I'm excited to see what he's going to do in the backfield, but they also put him on defense. It'll be a great test for West High to see if they can get something done against a high-octane South High offense.
And West High, of course, they're going to rely on that sophomore, and that would be number 2, Daylon Lynch. We're going to call his name all day long. Only a sophomore, the touchdown leader on this squad. He's under center, also runs from the shotgun and also the Wildcat this evening. So we're going to see him mixed up in this game as well.
Absolutely, and one of the things that is exciting is the fact that West High doesn't have a JV team, so they have a ton of sophomores that get an opportunity to line it up and play against the big guys. I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
All right, well, we're going to go down to the field and get this thing kicked off right here in just a few minutes.
So while your financial life may start out with a Rocky Raccoon account, as you grow, we'll be with you every step of the way. From your first car and everyone thereafter, to investing in your family's future, to buying that special house you'll call home. Current Schools. Together, we have something special.
Welcome to the city, Motor City, where it's summer sell-down. Drive away a GMC Sierra 4-door, only $29,990, or save up to $10,000 off select Sierra HD models.
And we're back on the broadcast. Welcome, everybody, once again, coming to you from West High School this evening. A big thanks to our sponsors. This game is brought to you by Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, Motor City, and Bakersfield College. And getting ready to boot it away, number 5, Sebastian Ornelas. Correction, got that a little bit backwards. Let's go the other direction. Number 5, Danny Zuniga. And Zuniga's going to be a quick pooch kick. And it's fumbled a little bit and picked up, but South's going to go ahead and retain that one, Kenny.
Interesting play by that kickoff team, but when you have the talent that South High has from a specialty position perspective, I'm not surprised.
Job Amador on the fielding there, and the South High Rebels are going to start this one from the 42-yard line. A homecoming evening here at West High School. We're going to talk about a lot of West High stuff tonight. My alma mater, 30 years ago. I graduated in 1989. Great to be back in my alma mater on homecoming with a high school reunion just around the corner coming up in November. And that one thrown, number 11, and just off the hands, that was number 11, Manny Guzman, the quarterback. And just off the hands of his intended receiver, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
And right away, Guzman, who performed well the last time we saw him, is taking a shot. Maybe they feel like they have the matchups that they want on the outside. One thing I don't like about that design is you got 2 guys in the general area of the football. 2 guys usually means 3 defenders. Trips open for South High.
Guzman operating out of the shotgun, and a pitch to his left, and of course that's Lomax. Lomax bouncing around to the outside. He's going to pick up 15 yards and a first down. across the 45-yard line for the Rebels.
And talking about Daniel Lomax, he had the fantastic week a couple of weeks ago where he went over 300 yards. His dad is excited. They had a beautiful article about him. We'll get to that later.
So first down for the Rebels at the 44-yard line. 11:31 left on the clock here in the first quarter. Game tied at 0. Guzman from the shotgun, hands off to Lomax. Lomax cuts around the right side, and he's taken down, and that's going to be a gain of about 3 yards on the play. It looked like there was really not a whole lot there, but 3 yards.
Absolutely.
Still picked it up.
And he runs with angry intentions. One of the things about the article that he said he runs for his younger family member who has a disability, and that's why he runs with so much mean intention. Daniel Lomax.
So we may see a little bit different game plan here from South than we saw the last time we saw him against Golden Valley. And Guzman, and he's got a guy out there to the left side. And that looks to be number 21, Jariah Seals.
And they go with the swing
Unless I got
route.
that wrong. No, it's 23, Job Amador.
Job Amador. They go with the swing route, and he carries about 3 guys, 4 yards. Great effort.
Third down and 3 now. Of course, those South High jerseys, a little hard to spot. That light gray on white doesn't really help on the eyes. We'll do the best job we can tonight keeping track of all of the South High Rebels. And there's a pitch to the right, and it's Lomax on the carry. He cuts back to his left, and he's going to push forward to a first down at the 34-yard line.
I like the way he put his foot in the ground and cut that back up. They throw that toss sweep to get the linebackers flowing. Daniel Lomax doing a great job getting upfield and cutting that up for first down yardage.
First and 10, South High at the 33-yard line.
Shotgun double set for South High.
And the ball handed off, and he's touched in the backfield. That's number 11, Xavier Lopez, getting in the back to disrupt the end around, and a loss of yardage on the play. Big play by the defense there for the Westside Vikings.
And that's a great call by the defensive coordinator, sending that linebacker.
So second and 14 to go now. And South, last week we saw it 2 weeks ago, has the ability, unfortunately, to go backwards a little bit.
Absolutely. Now they're in that trips open set that they like.
Hand off once again to Lomax, and he's drilled at the line of scrimmage. And guess who got him?
Oh my goodness.
Lauona Laulu. Again, we're going to be saying that name all night long, and just hammered him. A loss of 2 yards on the play.
Oh my goodness. And we talked about
and Laulu coming out to just take a quick breather before he goes back in. All 290 pounds of him. And a big defensive play right there. Third down and 15 for the Rebels.
We talk about angry intentions of Lomax running the football. That look like angry intentions of LL.
And we got an official timeout on the field. Looks like one of the Vikings is shaken up on the play. That's number 9, Damian Brown, and he's going to come over, and coach is going to have a conversation with him. Looks like he had a little bit of a equipment malfunction there, and they're trying to get things straightened around. He says he's okay. So low snap and a handoff to Lomax, and he pushes his way forward all the way up to the 27-yard line on the stop, number 7, Jasmine Preet Singh. And it's going to bring a 4th down and 5 at the 28-yard line.
Great call on the draw when everybody is expecting pass. Trips open set now for South High and Guzman.
So 4th down now for the Rebels inside the 30-yard line. Guzman's going to go back to pass. He throws one, and there's a man out there.
Oh.
Great defense out there on the end. And the Rebel player wanted a interference call but didn't get it. That's number 3, James Rufus, on the play. And the Vikings hold and get the ball back, and now it's 1st and 10 for them at the 28-yard line.
Yeah, South tried to go with a corner route, and they had him for a second, but the throw was late by Guzman. Great speed on the back end by that defensive back and playing it at the highest point.
Yeah, way to close there. Once again, that was James Rufus And now we're going to see it. Big number 34, Laolona Laulu. And it's a handoff to him, and he's over to the right side, and he's just running over people. And he's going to pick up about 3 yards on the play. On the tackle, number 22, Lomax. And Lomax, if he wants to play this entire game, better be careful. I don't know about payback. He kind of got run over.
Hey, that was a huge collision for sure.
You know, we try to remain professional and positive on the broadcast, but sometimes you can't help but to giggle a little bit when you see a big guy like that just running downfield. And the poor fellow has got to try to stop him. We saw this one in warm-up.
Still on
and he bounces off and gets forward for another couple of yards, and he's going to get the first down. Great run by Laulu.
We do have a flag.
Uh-oh. And that one's going to come back by the way that the official, and that's I don't know about a false start. It was more probably illegal motion or lining up wrong on the field. Too many men in the backfield possibly. So illegal procedure. And they're going to mark off 5 yards from the original line of scrimmage. It'll still be second down, but now it's going to be second down and 10. So instead of a 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line, they're pushed back to the 29-yard line now.
And just a few carries of Laolo. He's looking fantastic when he gets the ball. 4 yards in the cloud of dust has been our theory.
That has been our mantra here, hasn't it, Kenny?
Absolutely. 2nd and 10 for the West High Vikings.
Under center for them, number 2, Daylon Lynch. Keep an eye on him. And Lynch is going to pass. Really quick jump pass over the top. And that's caught by number 1, Caden Dearmore. Now you're going to hear Dearmore, Leach, and Laulu all night long. These are the 3 playmakers that I've been told by the coaching staff for West High that are really the big playmakers on this squad.
Yes, and that was a nice design as they go play action pop pass to get it to the tight end for a makeable 3rd down conversion opportunity.
So 3rd down and 3 from the 36-yard line and a penalty marker, and that's going to be a false start called, against the Vikings. And as we've well known, penalties early can kill a team's momentum.
Yeah, and it's usually one of the reasons why a team is 1-3 when they have the talent that they have. Penalties can crush a good football team no matter how much talent you have on it. So it's going to be 3rd and 6, maybe 7.
So Laulu and Dearmore both coming out of the game right now. In with the play, number 49, Adrian Daniels. It is 3rd down and 7, and the Vikings are at the 31-yard line. And now they're working out of the shotgun. And Daylon Leach is going to hand that off to number 9. He spins away, and he's going to spring it loose. That's number 9, Damian Brown, down the sideline. And he's knocked out of bounds, and a saving tackle by the Rebels at the 11-yard line.
Amazing job by Brown breaking the initial tackle because South High had a great penetration into the backfield, I should say. And he broke that first tackle, and it ended up about 70 yards later.
And that is the first play where we've seen West High go to the outside so far in this possession. And now they have the ball at the 11-yard line, and they're knocking on the door.
Amazing call by the coaching staff as well on 3rd and long to go draw with that pressure of the defensive line by South High.
And that's a 50-yard pickup on that play.
And that's what you got to do against a team that has you outmanned, outgunned. You have to catch them off guard. Oh, and we have a penalty on West High as the coach.
And what is going on here? That is unfortunate. Boy, you hate to see that, especially after the success they had. My guess is there may have been a sideline warning of some kind, and the coach may have taken exception to that call, and now he's arguing with the officials on the sideline, and that's not going to help the Vikings any. Because now the Vikings are going to have to go. They're going to get a 15. Oh, and that's waved off. Well, now you don't see that very often. To where a flag gets thrown. It looked like that was going to be a personal foul of some kind.
Absolutely.
Or an unsportsmanlike conduct, I'm sure.
Well, great communication amongst the officials. Too early in the game to take anything personal. Allow the teams to get some momentum going. 5:37 remaining to play in the first quarter. West High heading north.
Kern County Officials Association has made it known that they are going to have a real issue with sideline warnings this year, and they're not going to tolerate players going any further beyond the line where they're supposed to be, because it does get in the way with officials. And usually what you find on a play like that is that the players are coming out and getting in the way of the line judge that's coming down that line. So that's usually what happens with a penalty like that.
Absolutely, and you have had injuries in recent years where officials, coaches, and players have gotten injured because they're standing too close to the sideline.
So now here we are, 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line, lining up in the backfield, of course. Le'owona La'ulu, 34, and he's the lead blocker. And he's still pushing a guy almost all the way into the end zone.
Gotta love it.
And on the carry, that's number 2, Daylon Leach.
When researching numbers, Leach was the most balanced weapon for the West High Vikings.
Daylon Leach, 10th grader. He is a sophomore, and he is the team leader in touchdowns on this squad for West High.
I can dig it. 2nd and 10.
So in at quarterback right now, number 5, Danny Zuniga. Leach coming around, and they hand that off to La'ulu. And the ball's out, and they threw the bag on the ground. He's calling him down. The umpire calls him down. The end zone judge threw the bag, but the umpire called him down, and they pushed all the way forward. That's La'ulu, and he's all the way up to the 1-yard line, and that's going to be 1st and goal now for the Vikings. And with that powerful back at 290, my guess is who's probably going to get the ball on this next one.
Wow, that was close. 1st and goal for the West High Vikings as the underdog. You got to like it. Homecoming spirit, right, Tom?
The West High Vikings 1-3. And, of course, so far this season, lost to North 33-20 last week. The week before, lost to a good Foothill squad. Foothill 3-2 this year. They lost 33-14. But right now, playing once again like a much better squad. And La'ulu bounces off and gets in. Touchdown, Vikings.
Vikings get the touchdown, expecting exactly what you said. 1 yard out, you're going to give it to the biggest man on the field, and he's done a great job in this first quarter.
So the Vikings score with 4 minutes and 3 seconds left on the clock here in the first quarter. And coming on for the field goal, the kicker, number 5, Danny Zuniga. Getting set to hold number 11, Xavier Lopez. And a great crowd here for homecoming tonight. And that one is up and good. 4:03 on the clock here in the first quarter. Vikings are leading 7-0. We'll be right back in just a minute. And we're back. Welcome back in the kickoff. South High to return, and of course that's number 22, Lomax Jr., and he's around the left side. He got sprung free up past the 50-yard line all the way down to the 46-yard line, and the Rebels in good field position once again.
When you see Lomax run, you can tell he has another gear. A lot of guys are fast. He's fast when he needs to be. He's powerful more than anything, but he has another gear.
West High School, of course, established in 1965. We'd like to say thank you for the hospitality to Principal Megan Greger, AP of Instruction Ryan Coleman, AP of Administration Fabian Buckner, Dean of Students Sienna Araneta, Athletic Director Scott Davison, and, of course, Activities Director Genia Owens. So thank you for your hospitality and welcoming us on board here this evening.
You know, Zana's my Bessie Owens classmate. It made me so excited to see her when I was walking in. So proud of my classmates.
I love when Kenny goes back in the in the vault and pulls out people from the past. Of course, we'd like to give a big shout-out and thank you for all of his help and advice to us. Our good friend, Mr. Vance Palm, who is maybe at home tonight now, resting. I'm not sure. I think maybe he had a BC gig this evening. So we are the only game in town tonight on the network, so having a great time here at West High Homecoming 2019. Of course, the West High class of 1989 reunion coming up in November. If you haven't found out about it and you graduated in 1989, hey, be sure to look it up on Facebook, West High class of 1989. It's going to be held at 1933, I believe, so great facility for us to get together for all of my classmates. Of course, some great football players from 1989. I'm going to go back. DeAndre Roberson.
Oh, yes.
The quarterback for West High.
I was in the
He was the original. He was Michael Vick before Michael Vick was Michael Vick. DeAndre Roberson. D-Robe.
D-Robe.
What a great guy and a great football player and a great human being. I love DeAndre. And, of course, I still run into him. Leon Denweed. Leon, if you're listening this evening, we hope you're enjoying your time and enjoying the broadcast of your old squad here. And I think there's a running back out on the field tonight that reminds me a little bit of you.
Well, we'll definitely let him know next time we see him.
And that's a holding call going against the Rebels, and that one's going to come back.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of a hold after the power play.
We had this conversation a little bit earlier, and there was a problem that the Rebels, unfortunately, have a way of going backwards instead of going forwards, and those are the mistakes that they made against Golden Valley a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that we reflect on is playing down to the level of your competition. When you start to do that, you have all these weapons. You got to play mistake-free football.
Guzman in the backfield, number 23, Job Amador in the slot to the left. And Guzman's going to roll right, and he's going to throw downfield. He's got a receiver, and it's almost picked off by number 3, James Rufus. And we've talked about Rufus so far a couple times this evening. He broke that play up on 4th down a couple of series ago.
I got to tell you, that Rufus name in Kern County is one of the most famous when it comes to playing defensive back, and he's lining up like he knows that.
That's right. So now, looks like it's going to be 2nd and long for the Rebels from the 43-yard line. 3:29 left to go here in the first quarter. The West High Vikings lead 7-0. And going in motion, that's number 3, King Ellis. We haven't talked about him yet tonight. And he's going to pick up 7 yards on the play and move all the way up to the 48-yard line.
I talked to King Ellis's dad this week, LaKendrick Ellis, and he was excited for this game. A lot of friendly rivalries that exist because this is basically the battle of Ming Avenue. South High kids live right down the road a couple of miles and go to south. West of what do we say, Weibel Road, everybody comes to West High. So
that's correct, and I remember growing up myself, it was West High or South High. Those are the two options.
Absolutely.
South High, of course, built in 1965.
Picked off!
Excuse me, number 57. Oh, it is an interception.
Amazing.
And that is
play.
number 55. Is it 55? It sure is. And we don't have a 55 on our roster for West High School. We'll have to figure out who that is here in a second.
Great play because it was basically one of those quick screens where they're trying to lure him to keep pursuing. And he did a great job not falling for the bait and getting his hands up. If you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up. Great catch, great play.
And somebody was watching film from a couple of weeks ago with Golden Valley, and that's proof of that. So now the Vikings have the ball at the 43-yard line. And there's a quick handoff to the up back, and he's going to push forward for about 6 yards.
They don't have it either.
And that was number 3, James Rufus on the carry. And unfortunately, we don't have number 55 on our roster for the West High Vikings, so we can't tell you who made the interception. We'll do our best to try to get that number updated at some point here during the game.
That was a big-time play, going back a play prior to the last one. You know, and it's the things like that you need to do against a better brand of a football team in South High. You have to get turnovers and score on those opportunities.
Well, and right now, West High in command. And there's a handoff to the up back. That's number 9, Damian Brown. Damian Brown, 150 pounds, 5'7".
Tough runner, tough kid.
And West High so far, here's what you're going to look at. You're going to notice big number 65, Elijah Martinez-Harden, 5'11", 200. I have a feeling he's a little bit bigger than 200 pounds. They have some huge linemen on the West High School squad.
Absolutely, and they're using them to their advantage.
So third down and 2 at the 30-yard line, and the Vikings once again, 2 receivers down to the near side and 1 lone running back. And that's a handoff once again right up the middle, and that big line pushing forward, and that's going to be a first down for the Vikings. And, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention number 75 getting a big push in the middle there, number 75, Bruno Ponce. Bruno, 5'10", 270 pounds.
Big boys down there.
So West High right now having their way with the defensive line of the South High Rebels. 1:17 and counting on the clock. West High leads 7-0 there at the 25-yard line, first down and 10. In the backfield, lining up number 9, Damian Brown. Brown, the lone back.
Oh!
And that one right off his mask. Too hard of a pitch, and it's recovered. Number 5, Sebastian Ornelas. And the Rebels have the ball, and a big mistake by the Vikings there.
The pitch relation on that speed option, it has to be a softer touch on that pitch. You work on that day in and day out as an option football team, but we just talked about opportunistic plays when you're the underdog. You cannot give the football right back to a high-octane offense like South High.
And that is a big mistake by the West High Vikings. Of course, the West High Vikings 1-3 right now. They lost to North High, who is 4-1, lost to Foothill, who's 3-2, beat East, who is 4-1, and lost to Mission Oak 3-1. So they've played some heavy-handed competition so far in the season.
Absolutely.
So now they're going to try and see if they can stop this high-powered South High offense, and that's snapped directly to number 3, King Ellis, on the Wildcat. Ellis around the left side and taken down on the tackle, number 34, Laulu. Again, we're going to try to keep giving his correct name all night long. Leuona Laulu.
Well, I think I'm going to follow Dr. Julian's
Kenny and I are
advice.
practicing this all night long.
Dr. J said we should just call him LL. I think
Well,
I'm
they
going
call him
LL.
LJ.
Okay.
For short. So
Oh, fumble
and that was
snap!
a fumble, but it's grabbed, and Ellis did a good job of falling on that one, but it's going to be a loss of yardage on the play and bring up third down and 9 all the way back to the 29-yard line.
And guess who gets credit for the sack? Number 34.
Would that be LJ? Leuona Laulu.
Leuona.
Leuona.
We're going to get it, guys. We're going to get it.
And that's the end of the first quarter. You're watching the Kern High Network on KernHighNetwork.com. 7-0 West leads. We'll be back in just a minute.
All right, time for some shout-outs.
So while your financial life may start out with a Rocky Raccoon account, as you grow, we'll be with you every step of the way. From your first car and everyone thereafter, to investing in your family's future, to buying that special house you'll call home. Kern Schools. Together, we have something special.
Welcome to the city, Motor City, where it's summer sell-down. Drive away a GMC Sierra 4-door, only $29,990, or save up to $10,000 off select Sierra HD models. Summer sell-down offers end September 3rd. We are professional grade, and we are California's largest volume GMC dealer, Motor City.
Kern Schools Federal Credit Union is here to be your lifelong financial partner. So while your financial life may start out with a Rocky Raccoon account, as you grow, we'll be with you every step of the way. From your
Welcome back to the Kern High Network and our coverage of Kern High School District football. Coming to you from West High School this evening, the home of the West High Vikings, taking on the South High Rebels. 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. We're starting the second right now. And the Rebels have the ball. Third down and 9. Rolling right, that's number 3, King Ellis. And is that pass complete? Yes, it is. On the reception, number 2, Darrell Brown. And a first down for the Rebels.
And I talked about the variety of ways that South High can beat you, and we're seeing that with them going direct snap to King Ellis, who we didn't expect to see throwing passes. But great execution, and this is a team that you definitely want to do your best to keep the ball away from.
And I haven't looked over on the sideline to see if Manny Guzman is doing okay or if there's something going on with him. We haven't seen Ellis running. And that one was fumbled out of bounds? Or was it a pitch?
Errant pitch. And that went up about 8 feet. About 3 feet over the head.
To be honest with you, I was looking down when it left his hand, so I didn't know whether it was pitched or whether he lost it. But a big loss of 4 or 5 yards on the play there, and that's going to bring up second down and 14 all the way back to the 37-yard line.
Titan Tom, people think option football, running the football can be a safe way to play the game. Not when you're putting the ball in play all the time. Pitch relation is one of the easiest ways to turn over the ball.
So here we go, second and 14. And Ellis looking to hand it off and keeps it himself. And he gets around the left side. He's brought down over there by number 7, Jasminpreet Singh. And a pickup of about 6 yards on the play, and that'll be third down and 9 from the 42-yard line.
And that was a great job as well by number 60, Tyrone Griggs, the senior, 6'1", 175 pounds, by continuing to extend the reach. The tackle is trying to reach him. You have to keep walling him out and allow your linebacker to field. Great job.
Once again, third down and 9. Ellis back to pass. He may hold on to it. 60's. Oh, and a nice catch over there out on the side.
Wow.
But that's going to only be about a yard gain, and that's caught by number 2, Darrell Brown, and we've seen Brown catch a few of them. I don't really even think he got anything on the play. Maybe a yard, and now it's going to be fourth down and 8 from the 43-yard line.
Yeah, that'll be one of those nice highlight catches, though, for his reel.
Ellis, of course, running for his life there. And number 60, Tyrone Griggs, was rolling up his back, and he was lucky to get that one away.
Yeah, he has the escapability. Probably one of the reasons they're bringing him in. We got a timeout, which is interesting, on a 4th and 7. So while we do have that timeout, let's go ahead and give thanks to our sponsors at Kern High School District. We also want to thank Motor City, Bakersfield College, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union for all their support.
How about those South High administrators, Kenny? Why don't you tell us about them?
All right, we got Connie Grumling, principal, John Gutchin, AP of Instruction, Brian Smith, AP of Administration, Taisha Alvarado, one of my friends, Dean of Students, Dante Boradori, who worked backstage at Nelly with me a couple of weeks ago, and Cecilia Pulido, Activities Director.
Thank you, Administration of South High, for all you do for our students and our community. Great to be here tonight. Tom Myers on the call with my good friend Kenny Calvin, my other good friend Julian Wilson. Julian wore a little bit looser shirt tonight. I think maybe ripped the arms out of the other ones. Julian, of course, handling our camera and production duties for us this evening. Thank you, Julian. Back to punt, number 80, Lino Bravo. And standing at his own 20-yard line, number 2, Daylon Leach. And Leach, a dangerous returner. We'll see what he can do here.
Very dangerous.
And that one's not quite going to make it. It's going to fall short. He's going to let that one roll to a stop on its own with a bunch of South High Rebels around. They're going to down at the 23-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 for West High from there.
Well, think about it. If you're West High, you got to be feeling pretty fortunate. You're able to do some things and move the football. Now you have an opportunity to get it back and potentially go up with a second strike.
So once again, it's homecoming evening here. The Viking Regiment playing to the best of their abilities and making this place sound great. And, wow, this brings back old memories of my days. Of course, the stands here are a little bit different. The new and improved West High Viking stands of aluminum now. Back in my day, they were old rickety and green and painted. And so it's always nice to make a trip home to where you went to high school. Some of the best years of my life spent in this school. And to all my classmates, class of 89.
Wow.
30 years.
That's
reunion
amazing.
Coming up.
I'm right behind you.
And it looks like a timeout call by the West High Vikings. Hey, fans, if you haven't had a chance to yet, check out the new award-winning Achieve magazine. Available, of course, at all Kern Schools Federal Credit Unions and also available on every campus in the Kern High District in the administration building. So, once again, it's got all kinds of great articles on what's going on in the school district, and I can't help but notice one of the best things that's coming up in the spring, and I believe it's going to open soon.
Oh, yeah.
Our new Kern Aquatic Center with a diving pool.
Hey.
I also was a springboard diver in high school, and I'll tell you what, we had to go all the way to Clovis to that diving pool in order to get anything that was even close to an Olympic size. This is an Olympic quality swimming facility.
Tom, another thing we have in common. I was a record holder as a breaststroker. At 13, I had the fastest time in the country.
Really?
Absolutely. I won city 3 years in a row up at Jefferson Park.
Ladies and gentlemen, we learned something new about Kenny Calvin every day. He was fast on the field and in the pool.
I was a fish. Martin Luther King Park. It was California Park back then. We would have a team of about 6 guys against 40. First and 10 for West High.
Vikings going to snap it from the 24-yard line. And that's going to be an encroachment call, I believe, here. No, it's a false start called against the Vikings, and that's going to pace off 5 yards and move them back first and 15 now to the 19-yard line.
You know, we talk about the great diversity of the Kern High School District. Beautiful experience for the pool and the opportunity for the athletes to have the beautiful facilities. And flashing back on you guys having to travel to Clovis, I remember when I was at Bakersfield High School, we had to go to Central Park for practice.
That's
and it was
exactly
not
right.
a great scenery.
That's right. I remember we dove at Cal State and Bakersfield College, and it was hard to get to BC all the way from the other side of town. So there's a handoff around the left side. That's number 2, Daylon Leach.
Leach, 5'6", 150, but he's a burner.
And right now, Danny Zuniga has taken over the quarterback duties, and Leach is running the ball out of the backfield. And we haven't seen much of number 34, Leowona Laulu. So we're still waiting to see kind of where he's going to be. They do have him lined up at tight end, and he is one of their main blockers on that offensive line.
Well, you got a kid that's playing both ways. You have to do your best as a coach to not overwhelm him. He's a young kid, even though he's a senior.
9:40 left to go here in the second quarter. And there's a handoff up the middle and a pickup of a few yards.
It's getting a little chippy out there. I like it.
And that's a handoff to number 9, Damian Brown once again. And Brown carried quite a few times so far in the game.
Absolutely. But one of the guys I highlighted on the other side of the football for West High was Griggs. Tyrone Griggs, he's also playing offensive line, and he's getting very physical out there. And I like seeing that out of the young guys.
Tyrone Griggs was chasing down Guzman or King Ellis a little while for his life. And I wouldn't want Griggs coming after me. Tyrone Griggs, 6'1", 175, but he looks even bigger than 175.
Oh, yeah, he's a long 175.
These stats may be old stats.
Absolutely.
So now a handoff again, once up the middle, and that's going to be to number 9, Damian Brown again. And he's going to be stopped short, just short of the first down. And now coach is going to have a decision to make. They're only up to the 34-yard line. Did he go for it here, or do they punt the ball and play it safe?
Well, I mean.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on.
Like
before you start talking, look who's coming in. Number 34.
Oh, there you go.
Leowona Laulu is on his way in now, number 34. They will line him up at the fullback position and probably you know who's getting the ball. Everyone in the stadium right now knows who's going to get the ball in this handoff.
Absolutely. And for South High, you got to take this as a slap in the face for them to go for it on their own 33-yard line, saying you can't stop me.
And how do you stack the box on a play like this with that massive offensive line of the West High Vikings? South High looking to get a big stop here. 4th down, and look, big count there by the Vikings trying to throw off the Rebels. And there's a handoff up the middle, and that's going to be an easy first down for number 34, Leowona Laulu.
But I got to tell you what I like more than anything, the patience of Danny Zuniga and the offensive line to not false start with the hard count when you're trying to draw them off sides and continue to run the play. Usually you see teams call a timeout and they come out and punt. But that's just discipline by that offensive line and quarterback. Great job.
And Laulu coming out of the game, he did his job. So now he's going to take a breather, get a drink of water,
It's a first down for the Vikings.
until they need him the next time for 2 yards.
Well, I got to tell you, I don't know what this kid Laiawana's grades are like, but I would love to see him wearing that Renegade red and white next year.
Yeah, I bet. And I met him a little earlier. Nice kid. Super sweet. Great to have a nice conversation with him and really pull him for him this evening.
Woo!
And around the right side, that's number 11, Xavier Lopez. Lopez dragged down by Lomax Jr. I think also on the tackle was number 3, King Ellis. You got two of the fastest guys on the field right now playing that left side.
And we praise Lomax so much on the offensive end that his defensive ability is overshadowed. Fantastic job running from sideline to sideline. This kid is a superstar.
So pick up of 4 yards on the play, brings up 2nd and 6 from the 39-yard line for the Vikings. The Vikings enter center almost all night long, and there's a handoff, and up the middle, he breaks free. That's number 2, Daylon Leach. And a big gain there and a first down just across the midfield.
I'm going to tell you why. Because you got number 75, Bruno Ponce, 5'10", 270 pounds, putting in work down there.
This may be one of the first days, actually, Kenny, that we give the player of the game to an offensive lineman.
It's looking like it.
Great blocking there. And, of course, that center is number 65, Elijah Martinez-Harden. And Martinez-Harden, they have his weight in the program that we're looking at 200 pounds. I'll bet you he's 280. And he gets to the next level for a block.
Oh, great job by the South High defensive line.
And that was number 65 on the tackle, Jesus Mays. And Mays definitely has his work cut out for him this evening, dealing with that big offensive line of the West High Vikings.
Absolutely, because Caden Dearmore gets the carry. He's 6 foot 190. That's a big kid as well. But one thing I like about that is you got Jesus Mays giving him a pat on the helmet. Like, great run, young man, but I got you. Not this time.
2nd down and 9 from the 48-yard line for the Vikings. And that's going to be a handoff around the right side and cut back. Number 11, Xavier Lopez on the carry. Lopez quick, made a real good cut to the left there.
Absolutely. It's one of the things that I highlighted earlier about the ball carriers. They're doing a great job being disciplined and not trying to continue to run the sweep. That was a jet sweep. Inexperienced runners will try to get to the sideline. He stuck his foot in the ground and went right up the field, as you stated. That's great coaching.
Great observation, Kenny. 4:55 left to go here in the second quarter. Vikings on top, 7-0 over the Rebels. And there's a handoff. I actually lost it. Did he keep? Was that a keeper? I couldn't tell.
That was great action in the mesh point.
Yeah, on the carry there, number 2, Daylon Leach.
It's going to bring up 4th and short, Titan Town.
And guess who's back in the game once again? Leawona Laulu. And I'm getting better at saying it every time I do it.
Yes, you are.
So now it's 4th down and 2 from the 41-yard line.
And, guys, with these two heavy run teams, we're eating this time or these minutes up. 4 minutes remaining to play in the second quarter. Vikings rolling, heading south. Oh, and false start.
And number 60, Tyrone Griggs, a critical mistake right there. And the Vikings are going to get pushed back 5 yards, and now it's going to be 4th down and 6.
Oh, and you know what was coming. I know South High, they were anxious for that play because they were expecting run, and I don't know if they were going to be able to get that 4 yards. Now they have to come up with something in the passing game with 4th and 7 to go.
And Laulu coming out of the game, and they're going to go with a different play on this one, I'm sure. So 4th down and 7 now from the 46-yard line.
Yeah, they bring in Adrian Daniels.
And the Vikings will go for it on 4th
He's going to line up as that slot receiver, shotgun double set for Westside Vikings.
And the Vikings are going to call a timeout and think this one over. Boy, I'll tell you, sometimes you go from right there at knocking on the door, and then you make one critical mistake, and it changes the entire game plan.
We've talked about it hurting football teams who need momentum. This has been a penalty fest in the first half, Mr. Myers. And one of the things for West High, you've had an opportunity to go up on a good football team that you should be losing to. You got to eliminate the mistakes.
Yeah, 3:29 left to go here in the second quarter. Vikings lead 7-0. Hey, we'd like to take this opportunity, fans, to thank our administration of the Kern High School District, Dr. Brian Schaefer, our superintendent, Dr. Scott Cole, our deputy superintendent, Dr. Brenda Lewis, associate superintendent, Dr. Dean McGee, associate superintendent, and Dr. Mike Zolfa, associate superintendent. Thank you for your leadership in the district. So
Amazing
now,
team.
once again, yeah, fourth down, Kenny.
Yeah, and if I'm West High, I'm thinking, my passing game's not great. My defense is playing pretty well. Why not try to punt the football and pin them and give them a long field to go?
It is 3:29 left to go here in the first half, so pinning them deep might be a good strategy to keep them from scoring, and then you go into the locker room 7-0.
Yeah, but that's why I'm in the booth, because they're going in shotgun and saying, skip you, Kenny Cal.
So lining up a quarterback is number 2, Daylon Leach. Leach back to pass. He's going to roll right, and he just gets missed, and he escapes. Then it's a first down.
Leach.
No flags, knocked out of bounds at the 32-yard line. First down, Vikings.
And if you can see me dance right now, I'm doing the Leach because he was tight roping, escaped about 4 guys. I just knew he was tackled for a loss. And Titan Tom, he gets 12.
Leach out of bounds, and the clock stops at 3:20 here in the second quarter. And, boy, I thought he was going to get tracked down there from behind, but managed to put on the afterburners, got away from the defenders, and gets a first down for the Vikings.
Shows amazing leg strength, too, because he got clipped.
So once again now, Daylon Leach back in. Danny Zuniga out of the game. They're going to and that's a bad snap. And he's going to hop on that one.
Oh, my goodness.
And there's going to be a loss of about 30 or 40 yards on that play. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's going to be about 27 yards.
Oh, my goodness.
And we just
a
talked
monumental mistake by West.
Wow. Right after the conversion on an amazing play, you get a high snap, and that sets you back to about a 2nd and 30. When you have an opportunity to take advantage on a football team with more talent than you.
Vikings now at the 45-yard line. And in at quarterback once again, Danny Zuniga. So we're playing musical quarterbacks now. Zuniga under center. And he's going to drop back to pass. And that one almost picked off. Great defense over there. Number 15, Ramses Rogers. Great. That pass was intended for number 1, Caden Dearmore. Dearmore, of course, electric on the offensive side of the ball for the Vikings.
That was just great defense because they had him double covered underneath and over the top. And great break on the ball by Rogers. It's going to bring up 3rd and forever. Expect screen, draw, something to try to get some of this yardage back.
We haven't seen the Vikings really go downfield with the ball yet tonight.
And it's one of the things that they struggle with because they're under center so much, and then they go to shotgun to try to get some dynamics.
So now in at quarterback, it's number 2, Daylon Leach. And that one high again off his hands, and it's picked up by number 9, Damian Brown, but he takes a loss on the play of another 15 yards.
I couldn't even get it out of my mouth fast enough before the snap. When you're a running football team that does so much option and mesh point stuff, it's hard to get consistency from a center who doesn't usually snap it in shotgun formation.
Yeah, so now, of course, the Vikings are going to punt, but South High could have really good field position here, and it looks like a timeout is being called, and I think that the South High Rebels have called the timeout. So 2:01 now to go here in the second quarter, and boy, have the tables turned on this one really quickly, Kenny.
And that's why teams usually end up 1-3, because you have everything you want and can ask for, and then you stub your toe. You know, one of the most painful things you can do in your room is stub your little pinky toe on the edge of the bed. It seems like they've done that about 5 times on this drive.
Wow. Fans, this broadcast brought to you this evening by the Kern High School District, Kern High Network. Our sponsors, Bakersfield College, Motor City, and Kern Schools Federal Credit Union. Thank you for all you do to support our students in the district. So here we go, 4th down. The Vikings getting set to punt. It is 4th down and 50 on the scoreboard.
And they are correct, and it's going to be more.
And now it's an illegal procedure call against the Vikings, and that's going to push them back even further. On to punt for the Vikings, number 5, Danny Zuniga.
And you do not want to punt a good punt to this kid.
Yeah, that's number 3, King Ellis. They're going to try and kick that one over towards the end here. There is some coverage, and that one's going to roll, and he's not paying attention. Ellis is going to pick it up, and that's a big mistake.
Ooh, and a huge block. They're going to get him for blindside. It used to be legal, but Jose Morales just blindside blasted a kid about 7 yards out of bounds.
And now that's going to push the Rebels back 15 yards back to their 35.
And we talked about the inconsistency of good decision-making. You know, it's bonehead plays. We saw, a game a couple weeks ago when Golden Valley stole one at South High where they just started to fall apart as well. So as coaches, you want to keep reminding your guys, hey, let's stay focused. We have an opportunity here to get back in this football game. And you blindside block a kid when the play is nearly dead.
And they only marked off 10 yards on that play. I thought that was going to be a 15-yarder. I guess I'm incorrect about whatever the call was. Personal foul, maybe 10 yards instead of 15, Kenny?
Well, it's possible that the hit was legal and something else happened because there was about 4 guys right there. A lot of contact. Trips open set.
1st and 10 for the Rebels from the 40-yard line. Manny Guzman at quarterback working from the shotgun. And Guzman back to pass. The whistles blow the play dead. And we're waiting to see what the call is. Was that a procedure call? It's going to be a 5-yard penalty, and it's going to push them back to the 35-yard line. 1:48 left to go here in the second half. The second quarter, the first half of the game. Vikings lead 7-0. Tom Myers joining you on the broadcast with Kenny Calvin, my good friend.
Woo.
My other good buddy, Julian Wilson. It's the amazing trio bringing you the only broadcast in town this evening for high school football. Glad to be here. And there's a big pass that almost intercepted. It was off the hands of number 2, Daylon Leach. And I don't know whether number 11, Xavier Lopez, when he jumped to get that ball, whether he blocked it.
It just flashed across his vision. Sometimes all it takes is a flash.
And the clock is stopped now at 1:43, and it's second down. West High pulling out Leowona Laulu.
Second down.
So he'll take a breather. And now West High, of course, going prevent defense. So a lot less worried about the run and more worried about the pass, obviously. And there's a pitch out to the right side. That's number 22, Daniel Lomax Jr. And Lomax around the right side and out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Close to a first down.
Titan Tom, I talked about that extra gear earlier. Right there is just a simple toss sweep. But what Lomax does is he lures you to sleep to make you think he's about to run you over, and he kicks it into that gear and gets another 6 yards. This kid is amazing.
Lulling them to sleep with a false sense of security.
And he hit him with that little shoulder dip, a little Barry Sanders.
Now it's 3rd and 5 from the 45-yard line. 1:34, the clock is stopped. 3rd and 5 for the Rebels. Guzman pitches it out to his left.
Oh.
And Lomax cutting in and then back outside again, and he pushes forward for a first down at the 47-yard line.
Boy, I tell you, Journey Williams, the defensive back for the West High Vikings, was put on an island right there. And once again, that quick stutter step that Lomax has, because you have to respect the strength. When he lowers his shoulders, you want to prepare for that. And he turns on the speed. Shotgun double set for the South High Rebels.
And Williams a little bit late on the coverage there, and he's going to chase him down, and it looks like Guzman, I don't know if that's a fumble or an incomplete pass. They're going to call it an incomplete pass. Guzman got dragged down, and that's an incomplete pass. It brings up 2nd and 10, 1:09 on the clock.
And guess who was there on the pressure? Leowana Laulu. I got it now, guys. This guy's everywhere. But it's players like that that make teams like West High able to compete. You have to eliminate the mistakes to give yourself a chance to win these football games.
And a timeout called by the Rebels. Once again, it's homecoming 2019 here at West High School this evening. Coming up at halftime, it's going to be the presentation of the floats. They crowned the homecoming king and queen earlier in this evening. Kenny Calvin, you know a little something about that. Why don't you tell us about your old days? We had a conversation earlier about your crowning of 1994.
You just took me back. I had the honor of being Mr. BHS. My Mrs. BHS was my cheerleader, Nicolette Ornalis. We just lost our coach, her dad, Coach Ornalis, Coach Mike Ornalis. So prayers to the Ornalis family. But one of my greatest memories and a life-changing moment was when they called my name and announced me homecoming king as Mr. BHS in class of 94.
Wow. I remember my homecoming. They got it a little mixed up between the two queens. It was Christy Kingsbury and Christy McMichael, and they got the wrong one. And I don't remember which one won or which one lost, but it ended up going bad. So, ladies, if you're listening to this evening, I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at your pain, but probably the only time that's ever happened that we had two girls with the same first name and they got them mixed up and announced the wrong one and then had to correct it. I think there was an awards show, Oscar winner that happened to a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, Steve Harvey.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Steve Harvey will never live that one down.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, so Christie's, we're sorry.
Yep.
If you're listening.
Pass out there to the right side at the 35-yard line. It's a first down for the Rebels, and they're pressuring now. 1:01 to go here on the clock, and they keep going to the sideline to get out of bounds to stop it. I don't know if they have any timeouts left over there on the board. It looks like they may have one.
I like the route combination that they're going with because they're going with something short, something deep. It's an easy read for the quarterback. If this safety jumps the deep one, you throw the short one. 2nd and 6.
Yeah, right now, Journey Williams down here on the near side. He's getting tested. But, of course, Guzman way over there, and Guzman's going to get dragged down, and that one's up in the air, and that's not going to get to the line. They're going to call that intentional grounding, and there's the flag. Guzman just throwing it up in the air, trying to avoid the sack.
Aaron Aon
and
with
intentional grounding. And, of course, the loss of down, so that's going to move them all the way to 3rd down, and they're going to move the ball all the way back here to the 43-yard line.
You know, we talked about South High's talent, but just like with West High, when you have successful plays, 2 plays after, you're making mistakes that take you all the way out of the gains. That's a 17-yard loss.
So great defense by the Vikings and getting the pressure on Guzman. You said once again that was Aaron Aon.
Amazing pressure by Aon.
Love to give the credit to the lineman when it's deserved, don't we?
Absolutely. It looks like a lineman is leading for our player of the game so far, Titan Tom. I got to be honest with you.
So there's a handoff once again. Daniel Lomax Jr. Uh-oh, that's trouble. Lomax sprung free on the right side. He's down the sideline. One guy to beat. And he picks up the first down all the way down to the 6-yard line. But he's inbounds, 31 seconds left to go. And I think that they may have one timeout left over, but I'm not sure. The clock now running, but they're not winding it. Here it goes.
Draw play for Lomax.
So Lomax dropped back to look over the middle, and he's going to run. And they're going to get him and tackle him, and down he goes. Clock still running. And I'm waiting to see if they call a timeout, if they even have one. And they do have a timeout.
And they let about 10 seconds
And they're going to use, I don't know why they were letting that go. I thought maybe the clock, the scoreboard was incorrect. They did have one left, and now it's 13 seconds left to go here in the second quarter.
You let 10 seconds go off the clock when you're basically in 2nd and goal. That takes a full play away.
West High looking for a big stop here. They lead 7-0 at the end of the second quarter right now. 13 seconds left to go here on the clock. And a great run by Daniel Lomax Jr. Way to cut back and spring out to the bounce to the outside. He had one tackler, but he couldn't seem to get past him.
We've talked about his talent, whether speed or strength. I think I'm going to call this kid Thunder and Lightning. Because he can give it to you however you want it.
Hey, fans, if you want to watch replays this evening, pull up your Facebook and go to KHSD Athletics or the Kern High Network. Julian Wilson is actually putting replays on throughout the evening as the game unfolds, so you can always check up replays on our Facebook page at the Kern High Network.
We got the best director in the business.
Yes, we do. 13 seconds to go. 2nd and goal now from the 6-yard line. Guzman from the shotgun, drops back, looks right. He's going to throw one up in the air, and it's going to be out of bounds. No good. 8.3 seconds now left on the clock.
And that's what you got to go with. I was expecting corner route from the inside guys with that tight split. Usually when you get tight splits from the inside slot guys, you're going to see outside routes. However, they went crossing routes that time.
So now it's 3rd down for the Rebels. And Guzman trying to figure out where his receivers are going to go. That's number 3, King Ellis over there on the right side. And he sees Ellis. He's going to throw one up. And that's going to be caught and out, and it's going to be pass interference on the West High defense.
I think they may get offense right there.
The flag came out quick. 3.7 seconds left. We're going to have to wait and see what the call is here from the White Hat.
Let's see.
Pass interference on the defense.
Wow. Yep. You saw it, Tom.
So now that's going to be half the distance to the goal, and the Rebels are going to get one more play, and that may have been a great play by the West High Vikings to prevent a touchdown.
Absolutely, because he was beat. South High feeling like they have that matchup. You got to wonder what's coming.
And you know what they're looking at. They're going to have to get a little help out there out to the right side, and that's going to be a handoff. And, of course, Lomax, and he's going to fall down. And that's going to do it for the second quarter. And the Vikings are going to hold and go into the locker room 7-0.
I have to question the call to go on the ground. You just went 2 straight fades. You let the time run out. Now you go in blanked by an undermanned, undersized West High Viking team.
We got a ball game going on here. The Vikings lead 7-0 going into halftime. And I'll tell you what, great night here for homecoming 2019 for West High, coming to you from West High School, home of the West High Vikings. And the Vikings right now leading the South High Rebels. And Kenny, I'll tell you what, I didn't see a 7-0 game at this point.
Well, one thing we know, Titan Tom, is that regardless of records, we've had some great games. This game hasn't been played fluidly because both teams are making mistakes. This has been a rough outing for both teams, but I'm excited to see what the second half and the finish is going to be like because South High has had some opportunities and they just haven't taken advantage.
Fans, stick around for the second half of the game coming up in just a few minutes. The Vikings are leading 7-0. We'll be back in a few minutes.
One thing about Kern Schools is you get to do your banking your way.
I still like writing checks and visiting my branch.
For me, it's all about the mobile, and I still do everything online or through the ATM.
So no matter how you do your banking, Kern Schools is always there. Kern Schools. Together, we have something special.
One thing about Kern Schools is you get to do your banking your way.
I still like writing checks and visiting my branch.
For me, it's all about the mobile, and I still do everything online or through the ATM.
So no matter how you do your banking, Kern Schools is always there. Kern Schools. Together, we have something special.
There are over 100 places to get pizza in Kern County, but only 4 are good enough to be called Tony's. So what's the Tony's Pizza difference? We're not giving away our secrets, but the proof is in the pizza. Tony's Spicy Mexicana, the mouth-watering Hawaiian, the award-winning Chili Verde, and so many more. Trust us, you'll find your favorite. If you want great pizza, you can play the numbers game, or you can get it right the first time. Tony's Pizza, 3 locations in Bakersfield and 1 in Shafter.
One thing about Kern Schools is you get to do your banking your way.
I'm a traditional banker. I still like writing checks and visiting my branch.
I'm a millennial, and for me, it's all about the mobile. And I'm somewhere in between. I still do my banking online and at the ATM. And with access to over 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs nationwide, Kern Schools is always close by.
So no matter how you do your banking, Kern Schools is always there. That's why we're the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County. Kern Schools. Together, we have something special. One thing about Kern Schools is you get to do your banking your way.
I'm a traditional banker. I still like writing checks and visiting my branch.
As a millennial, for me, it's all about the mobile. And I'm somewhere in between. I still do everything online or through an ATM.
So no matter how you do your banking, Kern Schools is always there. That's why we're the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County.
Take advantage of our low mortgage rates, including 60-day rate lock and no cost to you. Purchase or refinance your home today.
Kern Schools, together we have something special.
It's wicked cool. It's our new aviation class. It gives kids a chance to break into the industry. There's a lot of careers in aviation. This class is a lot more than just flying planes.
We've learned so much already. We've learned how to take off. We've learned instrument flight rules. It's something everyone can do, I think.
Good. And you see, remember that horizon? Try to keep it parallel to your cockpit. After the 2-year program, they're going to be able to take the knowledge test for their private pilot exam. I am a pilot. I've been in Bakersfield for 10 years. I worked as an instructor for 6 years and then became a corporate pilot. And I'm a teacher here. We have amazing equipment. Even flight schools don't have that much equipment.
You put a class like this somewhere at North High, and it's really preparing kids to succeed because it gives them a whole new set of opportunities they never knew that they had the chance to pursue. I'm proud to say that I'm from North High School and that we have administration that's willing to put the money into offering really, really neat programs like this and preparing kids to succeed.
A lot of more hands-on activities, a lot more about woodworking and what to do, how to make a career for myself.
It's not only for guys. I am actually learning how to make cupboards and put everything together, like drawers, cabinets. It's really fun, actually.
Yeah, well, it's really amazing to see their growth over the course of a year and how they can come in with no real skill at all and leave being able to actually produce furniture and cabinetry.
Houses need cabinets, businesses having a pool of resources or kids that have some knowledge in the industry would be real good.
Pull down on that. Let's slide these up. Watch fingers.
It's changed a lot. What I'm seeing here is what it's going towards. The CNC equipment, computers. I could actually build cabinets out of this shop. It's state of the art. It really is.
I am constantly looking for students that have been through these programs. It's always nice to have a person that has some experience. It's a lot easier to train. I think we're fortunate in Bakersfield that the Kern High School District has invested in a program like this. I would encourage other businesses to partner up with the Kern High School District like I've done here, because this really shows you what can be done if business comes together with the Kern High School District.
This is where we're going to train the kids to actually get jobs in the industry. We're going to give them the basic tools that they need, also the skills that they need to understand where they fit into the industry.
All the animated things, because we have everything that we need in the scenes.
They are learning the principles of animation, Photoshop. They're learning how to animate in 2D and 3D. And when you swap to that shape, then you're just going to drag these over here.
The storyboard aspect of creating basically the skeleton of the story, and then just sort of directing people in my vision of what I want in the story. And it's also giving me the advantage of Mr. Plord, since he's worked at so many companies, being able to put it in my resume and be like, this is the art direction I've received.
I have 2 lambs.
This lamb is stubborn.
Taking care of animals is you feed them twice a day, make sure they have water, walk them, make sure they're ready for fair.
Vet science is the first year before you can actually go into animal science, and it's a lot of like hands-on with the different animals, and you get to learn different things such as giving shots, castrating, all that fun stuff. For me, wanting to be a vet when I'm older, it prepares me. All the stuff that I'm learning in ag is definitely going to help me.
I'm in ag communications. Anything that you see on the Facebook page is what we do, and pictures, and we do all the posters that are around campus, anything that just promotes ag.
Our students are all part of the FFA organization, and through that we have a chapter officer team. We do monthly chapter meetings because we're trying to get them involved outside of class so they can find something that they're interested in, and they need something that's going to hook them so that they're ready for life after high school.
In animal care, the students learn a variety of things, whether it's tools or terms. In the veterinary field, they learn about the skeletal systems, animal nutrition, the housing, how to properly care for them. They also have the opportunity in the spring to actually go work at a veterinary hospital or at an animal shelter or a grooming salon.
Animal restraint, weight and temperature, pulse, respiration, all of that I learned here.
They take a state certified test, and if they pass, they become a certified vet assistant right out of high school.
It's always hands-on, and so I think that's what really helps us, is that we're not just getting it from a textbook, we're actually doing these things, and we're actually practicing these things that we'll be doing in our future careers.
It's wicked cool. It's our new aviation class. It gives kids a chance to break into the industry. There's a lot of careers in aviation. This class is a lot more than just flying planes.
We've learned so much already. We've learned how to take off. We've learned instrument flight rules. It's something everyone can do, I think.
Good. And you see, remember that horizon? Try to keep it parallel to your cockpit. After the 2-year program, they're going to be able to take the knowledge test for their private pilot exam. I am a pilot. I've been in Bakersfield for 10 years. I worked as an instructor for 6 years and then became a corporate pilot. And I'm a teacher here. We have amazing equipment. Even flight schools don't have that much equipment.
You put a class like this somewhere at North High, and it's really preparing kids to succeed because it gives them a whole new set of opportunities they never knew that they had the chance to pursue. I'm proud to say that I'm from North High School and that we have administration that's willing to put the money into offering really, really neat programs like this and preparing kids to succeed.
We're in manufacturing engineering. We design parts, 3D parts, 2D parts, we create assemblies.
It's helping me get training in all of this stuff, like the computer programs that we have here, the machines that we have here. We learn a lot of math in here, mostly geometry and fractions, because I love math. That's why I'm in this class.
Mr. Lemmy, he's a great instructor.
So the problem is this piece itself.
He really goes hands-on with us. He helps us as much as we can. We've learned a lot from him.
Right now we're supplying students that are skilled in the safety, basic operation of machine work, and then they also leave with some soft skills. They understand they have to be on time, They understand that they have to get up and talk to people. Most of them are walking out of here with a solid foundation in the entry level of a trade.
They can have a job anywhere they go because they have a basic understanding of what it's going to take to put products out that people are going to use.
Hopefully this is a good career for me. You know, end up doing something good, have a good life, and make some money.
Well, we're learning a lot, and especially with just the basic knowledge of what you would need for an entry-level job.
All the basic skills to be a medical assistant in a doctor's office or a clinic.
You're leaning on it, and that'll make a difference.
And then they also do on-the-job training, and they work in doctor's offices or clinics throughout Kern County. The kids are job ready, and many of them are employed before the end of the school year. They're promised a job, as well as they continue their education. We have many registered nurses out there and even physicians.
I'm thinking I want to be an anesthesiologist. So a lot of school, but it'll be worth it in the end. We're learning the different roles, what a game designer is, what they do, and how video games are made, and how to deconstruct them.
We're also going to be teaching the hard skills, which includes learning the Unreal Engine. What the Unreal Engine is it's a game development tool that students will be able to use to make their very own video games. And this is something that actually industry professionals use every day to make some of the top-selling games. They're all the same size. You're all on the same plane. There's no undulating terrain or anything like that.
Our instructor, he's really amazing. He encourages everybody. He's really fun, and he makes learning fun.
So they've got top-of-the-line computers here, and they're set up to excel. I would be surprised if other students their age coming out of high school would have anywhere near the level of expertise that these guys are going to have.
A lot of more hands-on activities, a lot more about woodworking and what to do, how to make a career for myself.
It's not only for guys. I am actually learning how to make cupboards and put everything together, like doors, cabinets. It's really fun, actually.
Yeah, well, It's really amazing to see their growth over the course of a year and how they can come in with no real skill at all and leave being able to actually produce furniture and cabinetry.
Houses need cabinets, businesses having a pool of resources or kids that have some knowledge in the industry would be real good.
Pull down on that. Let's slide these up. Watch fingers.
It's changed a lot. What I'm seeing here is what it's going towards. The CNC equipment, computers. I could actually build cabinets out of this shop. It's state of the art. It really is.
I am constantly looking for students that have been through these programs. It's always nice to have a person that has some experience. It's a lot easier to train. I think we're fortunate in Bakersfield that the Kern High School District has invested in a program like this. I would encourage other businesses to partner up with the Kern High School District like I've done here, because this really shows you what can be done if business comes together with the Kern High School District.
Welcome back in on the broadcast. Coming to you this evening, the West High Vikings taking on the South High Rebels here at West High School. And, of course, an exciting first half, Kenny, but not really what you'd see from the scoreboard. 7-0, West High leading.
Mistake-filled first half from both teams. South High have definitely stubbed their toe multiple times. I made a joke about that, no pun intended, but they have to do a better job executing and finishing drives. They've had possessions inside the red zone multiple times and come away with no points. We talked about West High being able to try to capitalize on their momentum and having a lead against a team that should be blowing you out right now. And they're only up 7-0 when they had an opportunity to go up at least 14-0. So it'll be interesting to see who makes the corrections for the second half and who comes out and executes. That's just what it's about.
Yeah, West High, of course, big on the run game tonight. Only 2 pass completions so far on the evening. Their top runner so far on the evening, Damian Brown, 6 rushes for 79 yards. One of those rushes, of course, 50 yards.
And Brown is a fantastic talent. We've seen him do some things inside the tackles as well. But sadly, the penalties have taken away from everything positive that we've seen. I will say, for the most part, I'm excited about the offensive and defensive line play on both sides of the football. We joked about having it be the first game where we may actually pick an offensive or defensive lineman because they're doing such a fantastic job creating running lanes for the team. It's just the penalties that are happening after the big plays that are outshining the results.
Of course. On the other end of the line, of course, South High, Lomax. We're talking about Lomax. 9 carries for 88 yards. The team itself has 83 total yards because they have lost yardage on several plays. So he has more than the entire team right now.
And that's the sad thing about how well he's doing, because individually he's doing fantastic. He had a 15 to 18-yard run, and then the next play they have a low snap that drops them back about 7 yards and puts them in a long third down and distance situation. So the mistakes are what we want to see cleaned up. It takes away from what we want to highlight from the athletic accomplishments of the players. But ultimately, they have to play a cleaner brand of football because, hey, you're stepping into league play now. You have to get all of those old mistakes out of the way.
Yeah, a couple of other players of note for the South High Rebels this evening. Quarterback Manny Guzman tossing the ball around quite a bit, leading them down the field in that last drive.
Yes, sir.
But came up short once again because of a few mistakes.
Yeah, and Manny's done a great job not turning the football over, even though he's had some dropped interceptions. He's I can't remember who got that early interception, but he's had some lucky breaks avoiding those turnovers. They're going to have to put some points on the board because one more score from the West High Vikings, and it's going to be interesting to see how South High handles the adversity because me and you have seen them fall apart from a integrity standpoint in making mistakes and getting those penalties that cost them, in personal fouls and that thing.
Right, and we've seen, of course, King Ellis taking the snap directly and going to that Wildcat-style offense, and even King Ellis throwing the ball around a little, which we didn't see a couple of weeks ago against Golden Valley.
Yeah, the diversity of South High's offense is what scares you because they can beat you in multiple ways. They have Lomax, who's a power runner, who's doing a fantastic job inside the tackles and outside. Now you have situations where they're getting it to King Ellis, allowing him to take Wildcat snaps, throwing those fades and those outside routes, going spread offense. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can correct the errors to keep the chains moving and get some points on the board.
And, of course, we didn't mention yet, but we want to, Leolona Laulu.
Oh, so impressed with this kid on both sides of the football. You talked about his touchdowns that he scored when they put him in short yardage, and he has the only touchdown. But I'm more impressed with him on the defensive side of the football because he's an animal on the defensive line, creating tremendous pressure, and that's one of the reasons why South High isn't doing as well either.
So once again, West High leading 7-0. Kickoff coming up in just a few minutes for the second half. We'll be back right after this.
So while your financial life may start out with a Rocky Raccoon account, as you grow, we'll be with you every step of the way. From your first car and everyone thereafter, to investing in your family's future, to buying that special house you'll call home. Current Schools. Together, we have something special.
Welcome to the city, Motor City, where it's summer sell down. Drive away a GMC Sierra 4-door only $29,990, or save up to $10,000 off select Sierra HD models. Summer sell-down offers end September 3rd. We are professional grade, and we are California's largest volume GMC dealer, Motor City.
Current Schools Federal Credit Union is here to be your lifelong financial partner. So while your financial life may start out with a Rocky Raccoon account, as you grow, we'll be with you every step of the way. From your first car and everyone thereafter, to investing in your family's future, to buying that special house you'll call home, Current Schools is here to help. And if you live in Kern County, then you can bank with us. See, we're local just like you, so what we accomplish together benefits our entire community. Current Schools, together we have something special.
For over 100 years, Bakersfield College has helped thousands of people achieve their dreams through education. Now Bakersfield College is bringing college closer to home, with courses offered in Southwest Bakersfield on Stockdale Highway, downtown Bakersfield.
And we're back for the second half. Welcome back, everybody, on the Kern High Network. KernHighNetwork.com, live streaming sports. And that's a quick one. And South High trying to come away with a really quick one, trying to steal one there in the early going here.
I like the call. You have to try to do some things to gamble because you don't want to just kick it back to a ball control offense.
Well, there was only one West High guy who saw that ball. Everybody else is heading back to get back into the wedge.
Yep, good call. Tough execution.
So now the Vikings are going to have the ball. Here's a little nugget that I just got from Steve Lynch. Steve Lynch doing our reporting this evening, of course, and David Dennis down on the sidelines taking photographs for the Kern High Network this evening. Nice. Steve keeping all of our stats and running the storyline for the evening. West High in the second quarter had the ball 8:32 out of the 12 minutes.
And that's exactly what I talked about the ball control offense. And there they go again. They're doing a great job creating lanes as they go with that inside run with the RPO.
And a quick handoff, and that's number 9 on the carry. Damian Brown. And Titan Tom Myers needs to put his reading glasses back on, Kenny. There's so many on this roster. I have to kind of keep my reading glasses on to see it because it's so small. And that's indicative of what's going on here. West High, we didn't mention this a little bit earlier, but we talked about it a tiny bit. West High, no JV squad. Yes. They have moved all the players that would have played JV up to the varsity squad, so they do have a bit of a young roster that plays along with them, and they're bringing those guys along much quickly.
Uh-oh.
And there's a nice run once again by Brown. And he's going to pick up 15 yards on the play and push his way all the way up to the 33-yard line.
Nice hesitation step as he tries to get to the edge. Actually gained him another 4 or 5 yards. Great execution by West High. They're running the heck out of that veer option.
And one of the coaches down on the West High sideline pushing his players back, hoping not to get another penalty for a sideline warning. He was literally moving everybody back, and then the coaches are running up and down the sidelines now trying to keep the players back. So 1st and 10 for the Vikings at the 32-yard line, and there's a handoff once again right up the middle, and the Vikings get the push, and they're going to pick up 5 yards on the play.
You have to like what the West High Vikings are doing. Nothing fancy, option football. Either it's going to the dive or it's going to the pitch guy or to that jet sweep.
And that was Damian Brown once again on the carry. And the Vikings seemingly coming out of the half in control and moving the ball and going to eat as much clock as they possibly can here in the second half and try to run away with a win.
Absolutely, and they're right back in that veer look.
So Damian Brown once again in the backfield, and it's going to be a handoff to him. And he's going to pick up close to a first down. That's going to be about 3 yards on the play. Just shy, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and a long 1 yard.
Great job by South High's defensive line in that bear look. They're trying to do their best to avoid the score. I think right now for West High, this is 4th down territory, and guess who's coming in? LL Cool Jr.
Here he is. Leawona Laulu in the backfield, and he's going to get the handoff. He's met quick, but they couldn't stop him, and he's dragging the pile.
And it's still moving.
And they're pushing. That pile is still moving. And a pickup of 7 or 8 yards on the play.
Wow.
He was hit in the backfield, and the defender couldn't get his arms all the way around him to make the tackle. And it's a first down for the Vikings at the 16-yard line.
You got to love Leawona Laulu I'm calling him LL Cool Jr. He just took 4 guys, maybe 8 on a ride for about 5 yards.
So LJ Laulu, as I've been told, LJ for short. And there's a nice quarterback keeper there by number 2, Daylon Leach. And Leach picks up 4 yards on the play. Viking ball now at the 12-yard line, 2nd down and 6.
I like the fact that they went away from Laulu and used him as a decoy because he's such a main attraction. You can get so many different looks.
So Leach under center now, and he mishandles the snap, but he picks it up. He's around the right side, and that's going to be a horse collar by number 15, Ramses Rogers. And there are 4 flags thrown in the same spot. 5 flags. Every official on this side threw a flag.
And I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
So we're going to wait to hear the call from the white hat here. I think we all know what it is. Personal foul. It's a face mask.
Wow.
And that's going to be half the distance to the goal, and it's going to be a 1st down. And not bad for a bumbled snap. And he was able to pick that one up and get around the right side. Even then, he had picked up a few yards.
Good to know it was a face mask because I didn't see a horse collar, and I thought that was the call. So great communication amongst officials. And they're knocking on the door.
1st and goal from the 6-yard line for the Vikings. LJ Laulu in the background, in the backfield. And he's met immediately in the backfield. And he's going to get about 2 hard-fought yards on the play.
Oh, my goodness. We do not have number 46 for South High, but he met Laulu in the hole. Andon Sampson was also there in the hole. That was a huge collision.
Indeed. So 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line now. 7:55 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. The Vikings running the clock down steadily here in the 3rd quarter. Handoff. Oh, no, it's a fake.
Oh!
And a great pass. Number 1, Caden Dearmore, touchdown, Vikings.
We talked about using Laulu to your advantage as a decoy. You don't have to hand it to him every time he comes in because he's such a main attraction, and that's exactly what they do. They go with the fake dive option, and the tight end's wide open.
And Dearmore gets away and finds his way over to the corner of the end zone. And that's easy pickings there for Leach.
How about that? Well,
number 5, Danny Zuniga now on for the extra point. Getting set to hold number 11, Xavier Lopez. And it's up. And it's good. 7:38 to go here in the 3rd quarter. The Vikings leading 14-0 over the South High Rebels. We'll be back in a second.
Wow.
So once again, welcome back on the Kurt High Network, everybody.
Amazing design on that play, Titan Tom. They go with that speed option look.
And the Viking kicks that off, and it's going to go out of bounds, and that's a mistake. And I don't know if he meant to kick it off over there or if that was some sort of a mistake. And the wind started to pick up here on the press box, so we'll see how that affects this throwing game of the South High Rebels. We haven't seen any wind yet this evening. The flag over in the north end zone, the east end zone, I guess you could say. North? I'm trying to remember which direction is north here, Kenny. I think that's north.
Yeah, that'll be north.
Well, the wind blowing a little bit hard. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty from the 35 where it went out, and South's going to have the ball there, 1st and 10. 7:38 left to go on the clock here in the 3rd quarter. And the Rebels unable to get anything going here in offense. Did have something going at the end of that first half we'll see what happens here. And now penalty markers fly all the way around, and it's a delay of game.
I think it's they had 12 on the field as well.
Oh, excuse me. That's not a delay. That's an illegal participation call.
Absolutely. And that goes back to the mistakes that we talked about South High. You know, we saw a great game, South High versus Golden Valley, and it was a penalty fest.
And there's a handoff around the right side. King Ellis, and he's following his blockers, and he springs free. Got one to beat. He gets taken down. Ellis taken down at the 44-yard line. And on the stop, that's number 4, Jeremiah Perez for the Vikings. And a huge pickup. That's a 21-yard pickup on the play there by Ellis.
How about the patience as he gets the zone sweep, rides his tackles backside all the way up to about the 12-yard mark and separates for another 15.
Great vision by Ellis there and a huge pickup. 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line for the Rebels. Guzman handing it off to Lomax Jr. Lomax cut out to the outside and tripped up and caught on the tackle there, number 7, Jasmine Preet Singh. And Singh, good job on defense there, catching a wide open Lomax who was about ready to spring it for another 10 yards.
Absolutely. Speaking of job, number 23, Job Amador, did a great job on that kick-out block to allow Lomax to even get the 3 he got.
So a pickup of 3 yards on the play brings up 2nd and 7 from the 42-yard line.
South High Rebels trying to do the best to get back into it.
Guzman working out of the shotgun, hands off to King. He's around the right side. And Ellis tripped all the way up. And the line judge says he stepped out further back, so he's going to get all the way up to the 26-yard line. Still enough for a first down and a big gain. And the Rebels all of a sudden have their offense going.
They seem like a team that plays better under pressure.
And right now, the Vikings on their heels trying to contain around the ends and having a real tough time with this speedy backfield for the South High Rebels. And there's a handoff. That's number 2, Darryl Brown. And Brown looks like he's going to be in the end zone. Touchdown, Rebels.
And we talked about correcting errors. South High did a better job not making mistakes on this drive, and you see the explosiveness in multiple weapons.
6 plays, 65 yards.
Amazing execution. One of the things we talked about early was the fact that they have at least 5 guys that can take the distance.
And a penalty marker thrown by the White Hat. Illegal substitution once again called against the Rebels, and that's going to move them back 5 yards.
And there's those mistakes that we talked about, Titan Tom. Every point is important.
Off for the extra point try. Number 80, Lino Bravo, getting set to hold number 4, Angel Alvarez. And that one is good. 6:19 left to go here in the third quarter. It's the West High Vikings 14, the South High Rebels 7. And Kenny, we got a game.
Well, I mean, we expected South High to correct things. We knew they're a quick strike offense. But ultimately, for West High, you have to do a better job maintaining your drives to keep the football away from that explosive personnel that they have.
And in West High's case right now, the best offense, or the best defense rather, is going to be a hearty smash mouth, run the clock down offense.
Absolutely.
To keep that offense of the Rebels that seems to have somehow gotten their act together during the halftime. And so now it looks like they're going to have to keep the ball in their hand in order to keep the Rebels off the field.
Yeah, and luckily for West High, they came out and did what they were supposed to do after the half and getting points out of their first drive out of the locker room. Because South is going to continue to score points. But you have to do the best job that you can do and score when you have the football at your own pace for the Vikings.
Kicking off for the Rebels, number 80, Lino Bravo. Back deep for the Vikings. Number 2, Daylon Leach. Number 9, Damian Brown. And number 11, Xavier Lopez. So the speedy trio, take your pick.
Yeah, and that's why we're seeing the sky kicks and squib kicks. You don't want to kick it back to those guys.
And they may be playing a little bit too deep, depending on what they've studied in film. We'll see if Bravo puts this one away, and he's going to push that one. That's going to bounce right off, and the Rebels are going to get it. The Rebels got the ball. It bounced right off of a West High defender, and the Rebels grabbed the ball.
And right there, they were trying to squib kick it.
And on the recovery, I think that was number 24, Michael Willis. Maybe, could be. Wow. And already a turn of events here at West High School as the Rebels down 7-0, then got down 14-0, are all of a sudden knocking on the door. And they're on the 49-yard line, 1st and 10.
And expect sudden change. I expect a deep shot. With this split on the top side, I expect a skinny post.
And there's a handoff once again to Ellis. And there's going to be a penalty, so that's going to come back. And that's got to be holding probably called against the Rebels here.
Very surprised to see South High not try to take a shot and go right back to the running game, and that's actually going to work against them as they get the holding penalty.
Personal foul.
Oh!
And that's called against the defense. I don't know what the call was. It's kind of hard to tell.
Penalty against the Vikings. Personal foul. 15 yards.
So that's going to be a 15-yarder, and that's going to push the Rebels all the way up to the 33-yard line, 1st and 10.
Talk about the luck of the Rebels.
So now the Vikings really on their heels.
That gives the Rebels a 1st and 10 at the Vikings 33-yard line.
Oh.
So now that's going to be a false start penalty called against the Rebels.
And I hate to sound like a broken record, Titan Tom, but right after something good happens, usually something bad happens. And you're right back where you started from, behind the chains.
So that'll push the Rebels back to the 38-yard line and bring up 1st and 15. Operating out of the backfield for the Rebels right now is number 22, Daniel Lomax Jr., and number 3, King Ellis, along with number 11, Manny Guzman. So the speedy group in the backfield. And there's going to be a handoff, and that's going to be number 2, Darrell Brown, who just had that big run earlier. And I'm sorry, no, that's number 3, King Ellis. But a big tackle there by guess who?
Lewana.
LJ Laulu. So LJ Laulu doing his business. And a short pickup on the play, but definitely a great stop there.
I talked about his presence on the defensive side of the football.
So Guzman from the shotgun rolls right and throws, and that's caught. Oh! And a big tackle over there on the right side. And that's number 17, Zeferino Garcia.
Ooh, first time calling his name tonight.
And Job Amador slipped 2 tackles before he got drilled by Amador. But wow, I mean, I thought he was going to get away for a second there.
Nice job of continuing to fly to the football by the West High Vikings. 11 has to the football, 2 broken tackles. Third man cleaned his clock.
The Rebels with a ton of speed right now. West High trying to contain them. Guzman back to pass, throws left.
Oh!
And it's just off the hands of receiver number 3, King Ellis. And now it's going to be 4th and 10 from the 34-yard line, or 33-yard line rather, for the Rebels.
And King wish he had that back because he actually had 2 hands on that. And the rule is, if it hits your palms, it should be yours.
West High hoping to avoid the damage of that mishandled kickoff. And so the Rebels going for it now on 4th down. And Guzman back to pass, and he looks, and he's going to scramble a little bit, and he's going to throw, and he just throws it up, and it's caught.
Oh, my goodness!
Touchdown, Rebels!
Wow!
Are you kidding?
Guzman with the huge pass under pressure. Throws it up, Hail Mary style, touchdown, Rebels.
Angel Alvarez back there all alone, and it's caught for a touchdown. Are you kidding me? Incredible.
So, Tom, let's take him back because he was nearly sacked, jumped over his own lineman to get away, gets plastered in his chest, gets it off for a 40-yard bomb. South High Rebels are in the building.
Bravo's kick is up and good, and we got a tied ball game. 4:10 left to go here in the third quarter. It's the West High Vikings 14, the South High Rebels 14. We'll be back right after this. And we're back. Bravo getting ready to kick off, and we're still looking at the replay on that. You're going to be able to view that on the Kern High Network on our Facebook page. But holy cow, you got to be kidding me. And now I think it's going to be an offsides penalty called against South High. Of course, a little bit of a hurry there, and they are refusing to kick the ball deep, still trying to do whatever they can to try and bounce that ball off the front line of the West High Vikings.
I mean, why would you kick it deep? Things are working so well for you, just putting it on the ground.
4:10 left to go here in the third quarter. We're tied at 14, and this was a 14-0 game 3 or 4 minutes ago, Kenny.
Well, we talked about the explosiveness of South High's offense all night when they're able to avoid the mistakes.
And now all the deep backs are moving up. And, of course, now it's going to be offsides again, and that's one that you want to let go out of bounds unless you can return it. And so they're going to get pushed back another 5 yards. So South High going the wrong direction again.
And now you seriously want to think about what you want to do because you don't want to squib kick or sky kick a 10-yard kick now.
So now my guess is Lino Bravo, number 80, the kicker for the South High Rebels, is going to get the green light to try to put as much of a boot into it as he can. The problem is the wind is really kicking up here now, and it's blowing right into his face. And, of course, that one's going to be up, and it's going to be returned. And on the return, he's down the sideline. He sprung.
Oh, my goodness.
And a big hit, number 1, Caden Dearmore on the return. But, boy, did he just got smacked and drilled over there on the sideline. And I think that was Lino Bravo, the kicker, that did it to him.
Man, I don't know what Coach Mills gave these guys in their Gatorade over halftime, but they're playing with a whole nother level of intensity on that other sideline.
Fans keep an eye out for the replay on that one, but of course now for some reason they got moved back all the way to the 47-yard line. So I don't know what the play was on that one or what the call. They said he stepped out of bounds. They said he stepped out of bounds all the way back at the 47-yard line. So the Vikings will have the ball there at the 47-yard line. 4:06 to go here in the third quarter, and the game is tied at 14.
Well, we got a heck of a game on our hands.
So the Vikings now to go back to work, and that's a handoff and a big tackle there. Oh, goodness. So Brown on the carry, that's Damian Brown, but on the tackle, number 5, Sebastian Ornelas, and he got a hold of him and just drilled him into the ground.
Man, I'm seeing some huge hits. I know our listeners are like, calm down, Kenny. Hey, if you're watching this live right now, you cannot keep this excitement inside. It's going down.
Well, South High seems to have stepped up their defense all of a sudden, and they're playing with purpose all of a sudden. And once again, that's another example. And only like a half a yard picked up on the play. And that's going to bring up 3rd and long, an unfamiliar situation for this West High Viking offense.
Absolutely, and it puts them back in that trouble down and distance where they're going shotgun, and you have the high snaps and all the stuff that happened in the first half. So we'll see what their approach is now.
So the Vikings possibly looking to go to the pass to the air here, and they really haven't aired the ball out much at all this evening. 3rd and long, and we'll see what they come up with here. And there's a pitch out to the right side on the carry.
Oh, and they get it.
And that's number 11, Xavier Lopez, and it's a first down Vikings.
Oh, it looks like 31, Darius Jones on the carry.
And he stayed in bounds, so they're going to wind the clock now. So the Vikings now are going to try and eat as much clock as they possibly can to slow down the offensive firepower that the Rebels have come out with here in the second half.
That's exactly what they needed to do. Move the chains once, at least.
LJ Laulu in the backfield, and it's going to be a handoff to him. And, of course, he's going to get met immediately, and he's dragging that pile once again. He's going to pick up 2 yards on the play.
I saw a little bit of a cheap shot out of number 73. It was at 75.
And there's
Bruno
a player
Ponce.
shaking up on the play, and that's number 45 or number 43, I believe. We'll have to double-check the number. We're missing a few numbers on the South High roster. And that is number 45 shaking up on the play. We do have a 43 on the roster. That's Andon Sampson. Sometimes they change numbers that are kind of close, but we're not 100% sure. So we'll check on him, and then we'll be back in just a few minutes.
So while your financial life may start out with a Rocky Raccoon account, as you grow, we'll be with you every step of the way. From your first car and everyone thereafter, to investing in your family's future, to buying that special house you'll call home. Kern Schools. Together, we have something special.
Welcome to the city, Motor City, where it's summer sell down. Drive away a GMC Sierra 4-door, only $29,990, or save up to $10,000 off select Sierra HD models. Summer sell down offers end September 3rd. We are professional grade, and we are.
Welcome back to the Kern High Network, everybody. Tonight's broadcast of Kern High Network football brought to you by Bakersfield College, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, and Motor City.
Big day for the Renegades tomorrow as we host Golden West College.
So there's the handoff around the left side. That's number 11, Damian Brown, and he's all the way down to the 8-yard line. First down and goal for the Vikings.
I saw the Vikings running that play early, and it was one of the plays that they used Laulu as a decoy and go with that end around. I was waiting for that play, and it had great results.
So we're getting it from the PA announcer speaker, which is right above us here. That was a 28-yard pickup on the play. And now LJ Laulu in the backfield, the single back. One receiver down to the near side, one to the far side. Laulu on the carry, and he's going to be in the end zone, and he runs over a guy on purpose.
Oh, my goodness.
And he plastered somebody in the end zone. Touchdown, Vikings.
Get out of this kid's way. Dr. J, cue the replay as Laulu just ran through a brick wall.
And Julian Wilson, our production, immediately went to his replay computer to post that one on the Kern High Network website on the Facebook. And I'll tell you what, I think Laulu hit that guy 2 yards in the end zone just to do it.
He definitely did.
Wow, and the Vikings on the board once again, and they take the lead with 1:06 to go here in the third quarter. And the snap is up, and it's good.
Oh,
no good. But wait a minute, it looks like the kicker got hit, and there's a flag down.
Oh,
a miscue once again by the South High Rebels.
Yeah,
and they're going to get it for personal foul, roughing the kicker, and the Vikings are going to get another shot.
And the Vikings just might think about going for two with that down and distance and Laulu in the backfield.
And guess what, Kenny? You are either a miracle worker or a future teller of some sort, because Laulu is now coming back in the game.
Hey, why
and
not?
The Vikings are going to go for two.
You definitely want to take advantage and go for two in this situation, because you're going to kick it back to an explosive South High offense who is more than likely going to score again. and you put the pressure on them as well.
Once again, fans, 106 to go here in the third quarter. The Vikings lead 20-14, and now they're going to go for two after a roughing the kicker penalty.
Wow.
And LJ Laulu in the backfield, and he's the lone back, and guess what? They give it to him, and he's in, and the two-point conversion is good. 106 to go, 22-14. The Vikings on top right now over the Rebels.
Well, Titan Tom, me and you have had some fantastic calls, and this is turning into another one as West High answers back in big-time fashion.
I think it's 3 in a row. 3 weeks ago, you and I called Golden Valley versus this South High team.
Yes.
And South High had the definite advantage. South High a 3-1 squad right now.
Yes.
And had some pretty tough games and scored a lot of points in a few of those. Golden Valley was winless at the time. And then they managed to come over to South High and beat them by 21-6. Now, granted, the score was a little bit not really indicative of what the real score was.
True.
If you remember, Golden Valley got that interception late in the game and scored on one, I think the South had maybe even just given up, or we can't really tell, but just a long run touchdown. And so
yes,
it was a one-score game and then became a two-score game. And then, of course, last week we called Miramonte and Kern Valley, and that was a barn burner. And now South High to return here, and on the return, that's number 3, King Ellis, I believe.
And I got to tell you, the guys are flying around, and there's some big-time wood being laid on both sides of the football. But you got to expect South High to come out and spread the wealth. But ultimately, I want to see a lot of Daniel Lomax because they got away from that on that last drive.
And we haven't seen Lomax or called his name once yet in this half, have we?
We have not.
We've mentioned King Ellis quite a bit. We've called Darrell Brown. Manny Guzman has spread the ball around a little bit. Angel Alvarez caught that touchdown on that just what seemed like just a Hail Mary. And so now Guzman going back to work. And then the penalty markers fly. And it looks like it's going to be a false start called against the South High Rebels. That'll move back 5 yards.
How many pre-snap penalties have we seen out of the Rebels offense tonight? I want to say double digit.
So right now, first down and 15 for the Rebels. They're at the 32-yard line. In the backfield, Daniel Lomax Jr. coming in motion. That's King Ellis. Handoff to number 22, Daniel Lomax Jr., and he's tripped up. And there's going to be no gain on the play. And a big tackle there by number 7, Jasmine Preet Singh. Singh doing a good job of getting penetration into the backfield. And that's what's going to do it for them and bring up second down.
We talked about the intensity of South High's defense early. Now it seems like West High is picking that up after seeing their offense go in for a score. 30 seconds remaining to play in the third quarter.
And
Rebels
the clock
trailing.
is counting. And it's going to be a handoff once again. That's going to be to King Ellis. And Ellis is going to get brought down after a gain of 5 yards. On the tackle there, once again, that's number 7, Jasmine Preet Singh, and number 17, Zeferino Garcia. I think also on that tackle was number 20, Journey Williams. And Williams, we talked about him quite a few times this evening, doing a great job out there. And that's going to be the end of the third quarter. You're watching Kern High School District football on the Kern High Network. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back to the Kern High Network and our broadcast live streaming sports here.
And another pre-snap penalty by the Rebels.
And a delay of game coming out of a timeout from the beginning of the fourth quarter. So, and the wind is really blowing up here. We're both losing our rosters and everything's getting ready to kind of head out. The wind has really picked up. The flag over in the north end zone just blowing like crazy. Guzman back to pass. The flag flies. That intended for number 4, Angel Alvarez, and we'll see what the call is from the White Hat.
That's going to be another procedure penalty against the Rebels unless it's an offsides. And it's an
illegal shift, and that's called against the offense, and that'll be 5 more yards paced off. And now they're looking at a 3rd down and 20.
And this is why you can't put teams away because of.
And I stand corrected. It's a 4th down.
Wow.
It's a 4th down and 20. And now, something we haven't seen too much of tonight, the punting team for the Rebels.
And it's unfortunate for the Rebels because you have the Vikings on their heels and you come out and go 3 and out so quick.
Lino Bravo on to punt, and watch out for a fake here. We've seen a lot of surprise from South High this evening, and it wouldn't surprise me if they did. Here goes Bravo letting it go. He's got the wind behind him. Not much under the way of getting it up in the air. And that's going to roll dead right around the 38-yard line, and the Vikings will have it there with 11:45 to go here in the game.
Yeah, Vikings have a fortunate opportunity trailing 8. But the one thing that you worry about is their ability to move the ball in the air if they can't run the football because South High's defense has been flying around in the second half.
Fans, we'd like to recognize the people who support us with the Kern High District. Of course, I mean Stan Green, Director of School Support Services, and those who work for the Achieve magazine, Javier Valdez, Victoria Valencia, Manuel Garcia, and, of course, the staff that work with the Kern High School District and work with School Support Services, Miss Deanna Ribbons, Miss Dianera Aguinaga, Miss Genesis Sical, Vanessa Ramos, Ashley Ortega, and Catherine Lugo. Thank you for all you do to help us put these products together for our community and our students.
West High goes with the quick dive to Laulu. You know, you want to give him an opportunity to touch it as many times as you can in this fourth quarter, but you do not want to wear him out before you get to the goal line.
Fans, be sure to stick around all the way to the end of the game because coming up tonight, we'll name the Kern High Network Player of the Game, and we've got a couple of them in mind already. I think I've already maybe picked mine, but I'm going to weigh this in into my side, and then, of course, I'm going to let Kenny.
My goodness! Oh, my goodness!
And LJ La Uloa.
Oh, my goodness.
LJ La Ula. LJ La Ula. And he literally is just a dump truck running downhill.
I don't mean to laugh. What I'm laughing at is the fact that as a defensive back, I remember having to tackle loads. This guy is an 18-wheeler.
He sure is. I'll tell you what. You know, we have one back in my day that I already mentioned, and he was built kind of like a truck as well. Leon Denweed ran the ball straight downhill, and he was much like that. And right now, the only thing you can do, big tackle there.
Yeah, you got to get.
And that was number 21, Duriah Seals. And I'll tell you what, he literally took him out at the ankles, which is the only thing you can really do on a guy that size. He still picks up 3 yards.
Titan Tom, the reason why I can't get a good night's sleep till this day is because as a defensive back, we spent our time diving into the shins of bigger guys with those shoulders, and that's exactly the only way you're going to get a guy like Laulu down.
Well, Seals better be careful because he's going to get stepped on. and right now, it looks like the Vikings are taking their time and doing a good job trying to burn as much clock as possible. And once again, there's Laulu again. And you know what? A big hit at the line. And he got met by number 8, Hassan Lopez, and bounced off. I thought Lopez had him. He bounced off of Lopez and made his way around, and he picked up another 6 yards after contact.
Yeah, it's just.
And what can you do?
Man, hat on hat. What can you do? I'll tell you what you can do. There has to be 11 hats flying to the ball upon initial contact. They're doing a great job getting there initially, but everybody else isn't flying to the football.
And hats off to Lopez. He did make great contact in the backfield on him, and I thought he had him for a minute there, but you really can't wrap up around a guy that you can't get your arms around. I met him earlier down on the field, and the guy is massive. It was incredible. So he's a big fella, and he's definitely bringing the load with him. And he's going to push forward for that. And they got him, but he's going to get the first down because he got past the line to gain, and that's going to be a first down for the West High Vikings. Clock running with 8:58 to go.
Absolutely. And if you're the West High staff, you want to do a great job of monitoring how much you're going to the well, because like I said, you can definitely use him as a decoy while he's still on the field and go a little play action.
You know, you could even go on a jet sweep.
Absolutely.
You could bring that guy around the corner, fake it to him, pitch to the guy coming around on the jet sweep, and have him take off around the end.
Absolutely. It worked earlier.
So 1st and 10. Oh, mishandled, and it's picked up.
Oh,
my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Number 2, Daylon Leach fumbled the ball. Then he picked it up, ran around the end, and scored a touchdown. But the flag is on the field, and it's coming back.
Holding on an opportunistic play for the Vikings, and coach has got to be kicking himself as an fortunate event has just turned unfortunate.
And Kenny and I are looking at each other with disbelief at what a fantastic play that was, and now it's all coming back for a hold. Wow.
What makes the coach upset in this situation is the fact that the play hadn't even developed long enough for you to hold.
And the offensive line got some push too. And how they found a hold in the scrum, I don't know.
I'm mystified by that.
So 10 yards from the spot of the foul, that'll move them back to the 37-yard line, and it brings up 1st down and 13 for the Vikings. Now they're going back to the single back set. And Laulu, it's fake to him, but everybody kind of thought he had it, let him go. But on the quarterback keeper, that's number 2, Daylon Leach.
And that's what I talked about. Just because Laulu is on the field doesn't mean you have to go to him expeditiously. You can use him as misdirection.
Well, they definitely used it in that case. A big pickup there of about 7 yards. And now it's 2nd and 6 from the 31-yard line. 7:57 left on the clock, and it's counting. Vikings lead 22-14 here in the fourth quarter. Homecoming here, 2019 at West High School. Joining you once again on the broadcast, everybody, this evening, I'm Tom Myers, Kenny Mayne, my good friend over here. Kenny Calvin, excuse me. Kenny Mayne is on ESPN. Kenny Calvin
I was digging that.
Yeah. I got Kenny Calvin, and I got Julian Wilson running the camera and the production for us tonight. That was number 11 on the carry, Xavier Lopez. And, wow, what a game so far. And the Vikings going slow and steady wins the race.
Absolutely. Unfortunate in the aspect that they had the touchdown call back. But like we talked about earlier, the ball control offense is their best friend.
Well, and let's think about what we got right now. They have been eating clock, and then they got pushed back so they could eat some more clock. So right now, that actually play might have actually helped them more than it hurt them because they're none the worse for the wear, and it's 3rd down and short. LJ Laulu.
Oh, no, they went with the tight end that time. Caden Dearmore.
Caden Dearmore on the carry that time. And it's a 1st down, Vikings at the 19-yard line.
And I think it's a great decision by the West High staff to give the big man Double L a break because you're inching into his area where he's most effective. Get the ball down into the red zone to where you can be useful.
So the Vikings with the potential right now, they're knocking on the door, chance to go up 2 scores. And 6:19 on the clock and counting right now here in the fourth quarter. Daylon Leach under center, and he hands that one off to Dearmore once again. Dearmore brought down for a tackle for a short gain. And it's bringing it up 2nd and 9 right now at the 18-yard line.
Yeah, and West High's offense is going to have to do a better job of being less predictable in these moments because you don't want 3rd and long opportunities for an offense that doesn't do well in that situation. So you got to get something here on 2nd and long.
5:39 left on the clock. 2nd and 9 from the 18-yard line. Laulu in the backfield. And he's going to get the handoff on the left side.
Dang.
And he's going to push forward. And the ball,
out.
ball did come out.
The ball
and
came
they're going
out.
to give it to the Rebels. It was stripped right out of his hand before he even went down.
You know, I said they going it when they gave it to him because he's driving, but I talked about not going to the well too much because these kids get winded. And that's exactly what happened. You went to the well too much, and now you're giving South High an opportunity.
So a crucial error by the Vikings. 5:20 left to go here in the fourth quarter. And now the Rebels have the ball at their own 10-yard line and plenty of time to put some points back on the board to catch up with this game.
You know, I hate to have my crystal ball out this early.
And there's a handoff, and he cuts it back inside on the carry. Number 22, Daniel Lomax Jr. Lomax Jr. brought down by number 60, Jeremiah Rabancho. Excuse me, I've got that backwards. Number 60, Tyrone Griggs on the tackle there.
You know, I reflect back to the turnover for West High before the snap, and it just hurts to see what I expected from Laulu. I saw him getting winded. He's a load as they go back to Lomax.
And Lomax, he's going to go down for a loss now, and this isn't what you wanted to see out of the Rebels.
You expect them to go spread and try to get the ball downfield. Nonetheless, 4:30 remaining to play, and now they're in the 3rd and long where it's an obvious passing situation, but West High's defense is flying around.
So now it's 3rd and 12 for the Rebels from the 8-yard line. The clock is running at 4:16. The Rebels do have 3 timeouts left, and they trail 22-14, down by 8. So Guzman, and there's going to be a quick jump by the Vikings, and that looks like it's going to be a 5-yard penalty in favor of the Rebels. And that stops the clock at 4:06. And now they're going to wind it once again.
Ooh, this is turning
timeout,
into
hang on.
finish.
And the Rebels are going to call a timeout. And wow, we are just getting all kinds of ups and downs in this one. Kenny, I think this is becoming a thing with us where every week it's been up and down and up and down, and you never know who's going to win the game when you come down to the last few minutes.
Well, Tom, we've talked about it and joked about it. You know, records not meaning anything when you have these crosstown rivalries, and that's exactly what's happening tonight. I'm feeling a little bit down for West High because I saw them going to the well a bit too much with Laulu. He's a factor, of course, but when you're giving it to him 5 and 6 times in the middle of a drive, that's going to wear a kid like him out who's only used to getting it probably 4 or 5 times a game inside the 10.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, though. The best part is we really enjoyed watching that kid run this evening. And, you know, what an electrifying player. And just watching him run over people is something that you don't get to see a whole lot at this level.
Yes, and that's why I said what I said from a perspective of like, wow, this kid is carrying everybody. So, hey, 3rd and 7 for South High.
So Guzman rolling to his right and throwing. And that one's broken up on the play by number 11, Xavier Lopez. And that's going to bring up 4th down now for the Vikings.
And Guzman, when he goes back and watches film, he's going to be kicking himself in the butt because he's saying, why didn't I throw it to Lomax in the flat? He was already past the 1st down marker, and you know he's going to get something when he catches it. He gets greedy. The outside backer gets a hand on it. 4th and 10.
So the Vikings now have a 4th down against the Rebels. And the Rebels, surprisingly, 3:59 are going to punt here.
You have to. You have to hope your defense can get these guys off the field with 3:59 remaining to play.
Hovering around about the 45-yard line. And another timeout called by the Rebels. Would you call a timeout here, Kenny?
No, I would not, because you still need your timeouts for when you stop them on defense.
So now they're down from 3 to 1 timeout in the last 30 seconds.
So now you may have to change your approach and go for it because you may not get the football back because we know one thing that this West High offense can do is pound the football and keep it away from you.
3:59 left to go here. Once again, welcome in on the broadcast, everyone, tonight. This broadcast brought to you by the Kern High Network at KernHighNetwork.com. Special thanks to our sponsors, Bakersfield College, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, and Motor City. We'd also like to thank our administration of the Kern High School District for their help and support, the administration of West High School for being such a gracious host and helping us here this evening.
Absolutely.
And, of course, the administration of South High for their support of their players and everything that they do for their teams and everything that happens daily with our students in those schools.
Absolutely. And before the snap, I can't finish a West High game without giving a shout-out to a couple of my favorite Vikings. You got Kerry Boomer Smaglieri, Marcus Hollowell, Brian Howard, Antoine Cleveland, some of my favorite opponents. And we have
and we got an illegal substitution now called against the Rebels, and we saw this at the end of the other game over at against Golden Valley at home 3 weeks ago.
And if you aren't back against the wall enough, you get another pre-snap penalty after a timeout.
And look at this. It's being waved off by the official because they called a timeout on West High School.
Wow.
So,
lucky break.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, it's what we've had really the last 3 weeks. We've had tons of ups and downs and crazy plays and, exciting times here.
Well, Titan Tom, I talked about some of my favorite Vikings. I saw one when we had the Frontier game a couple weeks ago. I didn't know he was coaching there. My linebacker, Chad Greider.
That's correct.
One of the greatest
He's working
West
over
Side
there
Vikings of all time.
And working over there right now with Coach Chris Bandy, who coached here under Rich Cornford.
Oh, Coach Cornford.
Yep, Coach Cornford when Cornford was here. And, of course, one of the great running backs to come out of West High School we didn't mention yet tonight, Ryan Matthews.
Mr. Matthews, such an amazing talent. I had prayed and prayed that his grades weren't right. I shouldn't be doing that when I was coaching at BC. But I was like, man, I hope we get this kid. And I ended up coaching some of his teammates, Kenny Graham, one of my defensive backs. That broke my single season or my 2-year mark at BC.
Yeah, one of the greats, of course, one of the great football players ever to come out of West High School was Brock Marion, played for the Dallas Cowboys.
Absolutely, Brock Marion. Martell Hare was a tight end here in the 90s. Fantastic athlete, 3-sport athlete. When I was playing for the Cardinals in Arizona, he was a Arizona State guy.
And right now, it looks like the Rebels are going for it on 4th down because they only have 3 yards to go. So Guzman in the backfield from the shotgun. He drops back to pass. And right as he's hit, he lets it go. And it's intercepted and then dropped.
Which
and his own guy.
And it works out because it gives you better field position. So you actually should have dropped that outside of your name in the paper.
Xavier Lopez had the ball, and then he got hit by his own guy and knocked the ball free.
Well, hey, now you got West High in the red zone. You have South High who had an opportunity to do something special. They're going to go back and watch this film and realize how many opportunities they had. But now you got Big Laula coming in. I have a feeling he's going to run with some angry intentions after that fumble.
LJ Laula in the backfield now for the Vikings, and they're going to be pressing and knocking on the door from the 18-yard line. 1st down and 10 to go. 3:53 left in the 4th quarter.
And this should be all running game. The ball should not be passed anymore.
Dalen Leach under center, and it's pitched and automatically a delay of game called against the Vikings.
Boy, I tell you.
And head coach Derek Dunham just kind of looks out onto the field like, guys, really?
Well, I joke about it all the time. My kids wonder why I got to use the Just for Men and all that. As coaches, either you go gray or bald because of plays like that.
Fans coming up this next week, be sure to come back to the Kern High Network at KernHighNetwork.com and check to see what our games of the week will be next week. This is the only game of the week this week, so we were fortunate enough just to have this one. And Laula, and he almost lost the ball on that one. Had that one kind of bounce off his knee as he picked it up and then rumbles forward for a couple of yards.
Yes, but like you talked about earlier, it's such a joy watching this young man run because somebody's getting ran over every snap when he gets the football.
And not only that, but coming up in a few minutes, we'll be picking the Kern High Network Player of the Game. And so I'm sure he's going to be in the conversation at some point.
I can't wait to see him hold up that small T-shirt we got.
I have a feeling every T-shirt would be a small T-shirt that LJ holds up. And so that's a quarterback keeper. And then it's a pitch. And it's pitched to number 49. And that's Adrian Daniels. Kind of a dangerous throw out there, Kenny.
Yeah, we've seen both teams have some errant pitches. I would not call an option play if I was any of these coaches right now.
Dalen Leach looked like he had somewhere to go, and then at the last minute, somebody closed on him, and he decided to let the ball go.
Yeah, and that's just bad decision-making because you're not concerned about yardage right now. You're concerned about ball security.
So 3rd down and 6 for the Vikings from the 14-yard line. Once again, 2:33 and counting on the clock. We're here at the end of the fourth quarter, nearing the end of the fourth quarter. Vikings lead 22-14.
Uh-oh.
And there was nobody there in a big giant hole. And Laulu gets through. Touchdown, Vikings.
And I told you, couldn't wait to see him get his second opportunity after the turnover, running with angry intentions. And I feel sorry for the guy that tried to tackle him at the 5-yard line. This kid is ready for big-time college football.
Well, they didn't need Laulu to run that one. They could have gotten a punter to do that. That hole was wide open, and only one person touched him on the knee pad, and he got right past him and scored a touchdown.
Absolutely. Great insight and great job by number 75, Bruno Ponce. I wonder if he's my friend J.R. Ponce's son.
So number 5, Danny Zuniga on for the extra point, kicking into the wind, and that one's up. And it is good. 2:20 left to go here in the contest.
We have a Rebel down. One of the dangerous things about going after a field goal block or PAT block, one side is supposed to come in for the block. The other side should not continue to go in. They should be ready to catch the ball after it's blocked and tipped. That time you have both guys going after the block, and that usually causes an injury.
And I'm taking a look down there to see who that may be. It looks like it's number 5, Sebastian Ornelas. And we called Ornelas' name quite a few times this evening. So unfortunately, sad to see him going down. But now the Vikings on top, 29-14 with 2:20 left to go in the fourth quarter.
Well, Tom, we've talked about us being the luck of the underdog all season. And for the 3rd straight game that me and you have called, the underdog has come away with the win.
And I told Kerry Mills earlier, I said, I hope that I'm not your bad luck charm. And hope that, maybe you guys may get a win this evening, although I did just divulge to him in the, interest of fairness that I am a West High alum.
Well,
and
hey,
this is my homecoming.
Hey, this is the house that Titan Tom Myers built.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know about that. I'm probably a lot more famous now than I was back when I was in high school.
Hey, I think that bodes well for a lot of us right now. I played on a great football team with a ton of All-Americans. I was just happy to be part of the process, and having the opportunity to be part of the current high school district and allowing us to relive those memories. We get to embellish a bit and probably sprinkle a little sugar on our legacy. But I thank Stan Green and the team for that.
Well, I do know, and I've been told that not too many people are surprised that they pay me to talk for a living.
You got the gold.
And so
voice,
I do get a little bit of that. So so we all have our glory moments, and this happens to be mine. So
there we go. Well, hey, congratulations to you on the 30th reunion.
Thank you.
Great win for the West High Vikings. Well, it is 2:20 remaining to play.
We don't phone this one until the fat lady sings. So, fans, once again, coming up, post-game show, we'll go over some stats and some details for the end of the game, and we'll name the Kern High Network player of the game. 2:20 to go here in the fourth quarter, and the Vikings getting ready to boot it away. And that one, squib kicked, and it looks like it's going to stay in or roll out, and I think, almost. Trying to get to it there was number 49, Adrian Daniels, and he was about a yard too shy.
Absolutely. You got body language of some of these Rebels acting like they're ready to fire up the bus. And like you said, you still have 2:20 to play. I've seen 15 points scored in less than a minute before, so you still have an opportunity. You still have to come out focused.
Hey, and I'll give it up for one thing, and this is unsung, and I know this because next week I'll be back home at Frontier High School, my other home. And we have we don't have a broadcast there, but I'll be doing the PA announcing, which I do at Frontier High School. Frontier will be taking on Garces for their homecoming.
Ooh.
My daughter, a senior at Frontier High School, senior setter Macy Myers. Macy, if you're watching this evening, I love you. And so we will be there next week. And one thing that doesn't ever get mentioned is the clock operator. And in that last play, when the ball ran out of bounds, nobody had touched it. The clock operator did a great job of not starting the clock at all.
Great job.
And so unsung are those clock operators. And, of course, our clock operator is Jeff Gibson over at Frontier High School, and he does a fantastic job. Randy Weldon also holds duties to help out with that as well. So those guys both professionals beyond belief, and they do a great job. You know, a lot of people, adults, spend time out here on Friday nights really to help out a lot of these student athletes and run the clock and run the snack stands. And, you know, a lot of people are here, and they don't do it for the pay. And, in fact, most of the time they're not getting paid.
Yeah, it's
so
a true community
it's
effort.
great community effort and great Friday nights. And, boy, we sure love being here and love doing this kind of stuff. And, of course, you know, doing the broadcast and getting to these games has been a dream come true for me. And, Kenny, you say the same thing about you.
Absolutely.
And, boy, we have a great time. And Julian Wilson, our production and camera guy, does a fantastic job of making us look like we're really smart, and which is hard to do. But, you know, what a great Friday night out here. Wind picked up a little, got a little chilly. I brought a coat, but I left it at home on the kitchen table before I walked out the door. So, honey, have some coffee on for me. I'll be home soon.
Shotgun double set.
Guzman from the shotgun looks to his right and throws, and he's got a guy out there. That's number 10, Tyrone Wilson. And we haven't talked about Wilson much at all tonight. And you know what? They really haven't thrown a whole lot like they did against Golden Valley.
Yeah,
we saw a lot of that in the beginning in the first quarter of that Golden Valley game.
Yeah, totally caught me off guard. They went with a lot of power run, and that's going to be a winding clock as that knee went down. Shotgun double set for South High.
1:48 left on the clock and counting. And Guzman pumps and throws out to the flat. And out there, that's number 22. Lomax Jr. He gets all the way to the 35-yard line, and they're going to tack on extra yards to that because there was a roughing the passer on Guzman in the backfield. So there's going to be an additional 15 yards on that one.
And it's going to make things very interesting because you know South High is going to take a shot, and then they'll get an opportunity if they get into the end zone.
Smart play by the West High Vikings right now. You've got this one pretty much wrapped up. Why in the world would you want to put a shot on a quarterback this late in the game when you're ahead by 2 scores?
I definitely agree.
So now that moves the South High Rebels all the way up to the 20-yard line, and it's 1st and 10, and they're going to take a shot at the goal.
Oh, great
great defense, and that's number 2, Dalen Leach.
Dalen Leach is a true player on both sides of the football. That's amazing coverage, getting his shoulder into the chest, driving him back.
And here's the thing that we haven't said anything about Dalen Leach yet. And we don't talk much about it, or we normally do, but we haven't tonight. That kid is only a sophomore.
Wow.
He's got 2 more years in this program. And so now Guzman running around. Oh, wow. And he tried to do the stiff arm. And that was number 63 right there.
Wow.
Larry Johnson. And a penalty marker now thrown. Roughing the passer. Wait,
no,
intentional grounding. Excuse me. Having a little trouble with my calls this evening. So that's intentional grounding, so it's going to be loss of down. And that's going to bring up 3rd down for the Rebels now.
Yeah, because he was in the grass. There wasn't a receiver within 6 yards. He did have a receiver in the end zone, but
had he been outside the tackles, they probably wouldn't have called that.
Yes.
So here we go. 1:22 left to go. The clock is running. Guzman, he drops the ball, and he touched his knee, so he's going to be down.
And the clock is still going to run.
And it's 4th down, and now it's do or die. And now it's do or die. And the sideline for West High barking at the clock operator who stopped the clock.
I thought they were doing the guitar
that was not
wind up.
No, that was not rock star. Guzman now, and he's looking deep, throws across the middle, and he's got nobody. Overthrown the head of number 4, Angel Alvarez.
And that was
4th down, and now there's a flag in the backfield, but I'm wondering if that might be a holding penalty called against the Rebels here. Of course, right now I'm confused because number 60, Tyrone Griggs, is being sent over to the sideline.
Uh-oh. This is going to be very interesting, guys.
And his coaches are having a conversation with him and patting him on the head and saying, dude, put your head back on. You got to think. I think this is going to go against the Vikings.
Wow. Oh, it's going to be
a hold. It's holding called on both teams, and it negates, but it's going to be a replay. So that benefits South High.
bonehead play by the defender.
So that would have been the end of it, and the Vikings would be well on their way to doing the V formation, but not right now.
And they're a man short, I believe. Wait.
And he's being told to drop back in coverage. That's number 63. And now that one's aired out, and it's going to be thrown out of bounds, and that's going to do it for the Rebels. And they're going to turn the ball over on downs.
Whoop, Titan Tom. You shouldn't have went and told Coach Mills that you might be the sleeper because he's going to try to talk to Coach Mr. Green.
I don't think Kerry Mills is ever going to let me call another game again.
We have a late flag, and you got to wonder what that is.
That may be an unsportsmanlike.
But ultimately, with 44 seconds to play, let's think player of the game. We've had some amazing stuff on both sides of the football. You had Guzman with the amazing pass. That was probably the play of the game as he hopped over the guy to throw the fade.
Great athletic ability in that play, absolutely.
Yes, but I got to go with Laulu for the best name and the best action on the field all night.
And I think I'm going to go with LJ Laulu as well. And now, look, they got him all the way back here, and he was just practicing a punt maneuver. But he's going to be in the backfield for the V formation right now, and they're going to snap this one. The Rebels can do nothing to stop it. They have no more timeouts. The score 29-14, down by 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion, which was a smart move. And the Vikings are going to come away with their second win of the season and improve to 2-3. The Rebels will drop to 3-2. And just a fantastic game. So, the Kern High Network Player of the Game. That is going to be
Laulu.
For the Vikings, number 34, Leuona Laulu, also known as LJ Laulu. He will be the Kern High Network Player of the Game. Once again, thank you to our sponsors, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, Bakersfield College, and Motor City for their sponsorship of our production and support of our students in the district. For everybody here at the Kern High Network, thank you all for tuning in this evening. Once again, the West High Vikings win on homecoming 29-14. We'll see you back here next week.